tournament whole of January, and then just before it all kind of went down, I got back and I was in Vegas, because obviously it would have sucked to being sort of away somewhere and not being able to get back home and being apart from my wife for like months. So yeah, I was kind of lucky that, you know, I was back home, and at least I wasn't lonely. I had someone to hang out with, and yeah, no complaints really.
You've been in Vegas a couple of years, all right?
Yeah, like on and off. I kind of split my time between traveling the circuit still, and yeah, and like staying here.
Brilliant stuff. We're going to start basically at the beginning, because how did you learn? Where did you first start playing poker, and when was it?
God, it feels like a lifetime ago now. Guess it was like I was at university at Essex University studying economics, not doing too hot, like kind of failing. I was getting distracted. Like at the time, I was getting distracted by pool. I'd always played pool growing up, and then we at university I joined the pool club. We had a pretty good team. We played in the national championships every year, and I guess this was it was up in Derby, I think, the national championships, and we'd gone to Derby, played that year. I think it was my first year at university. And on the way home, one of my friends saw in like the student newspaper about this free tournament on Victor Chandler Poker that all students could play. It was free to buy in, and the winner would get, I think the winner got the equivalent of about $500, but they also got a seat in this big live tournament in London. So me and my friends didn't even know the rules of poker at this point, but we decided, okay, we'll give it a spin. It's free to enter. It was on a Monday night, so there was not much going on campus that night. So me and my like 4 flatmates went on Yahoo, because it wasn't even Google back then. We went on Yahoo, printed out a set of rules, started playing amongst ourselves with like two pence coins, and yeah, just played the free roll every week. And first sort of 5 or 6 times did absolutely nothing kind of thing, and lost every hand. And then I actually came second one week for like $120. Obviously, I was gutted to come second because I missed out on the live seat. But still, $120 was good money to me. I was a broke student. So now I had the dilemma of whether I cash out and sort of take my money and run, or sort of play around with it and see what happened. And I was really 50-50. I kept asking everyone because I didn't want to be determined as a gambler kind of thing. And in the end, I just decided to sort of have fun with it. And yeah, it went from there, really.
You've turned into, obviously, the early days of poker, you've turned into the #1, an absolute phenom. We've looked back at your pocket fives. Do you know exactly or roughly how many online cashes you've got on pocket fives? There might even be more that's not been on there, but would you like to have a guess?
God, I don't know, like maybe 10,000. I don't know.
It's just 11,594. That's to date.
So that's a lot of poker, yeah.
That's a lot of poker. That's a lot of cashes, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cashes. Your first on there is 5th for 13,000 in July 2006. I'm not being funny. That's 14 years ago.
Yeah, that's not a bad first cash either, right?
where is it? Apart from the years, where have they gone? 13,000 as a first cash. Was it instantly, this is going to be bankroll, or are we just going to squander it?
Well, actually, it's kind of funny because I'd been playing poker for quite a long time at that point, and I was playing mainly cash games on the Victor Chandler site.
Yeah.
And it was the first. The site got shut down. It was I can't remember what the exact act it was called under, but it got shut down. And I only really played on that site at the time. It's quite a small site, but I knew everyone. I had like my all stats on everyone. I was just a cash game player, played a few tournaments on the side. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to move sites. But I was really reliant on my HUD back in the day, which is kind of funny because I don't really use it anymore. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I can't play on, you know, like the big sites at the time, Full Tilt and PokerStars on the cash games there without having all my database set up. And I didn't really know much how to, you know, do all that kind of stuff. So I had to wait for my friend at university to be free, and he had exams that week. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I haven't got, you know, can't take a week off poker. You know, I was addicted to it. So I was like, okay, I'll just dabble in a couple of these tournaments. Played like this Sunday online tournaments that I hadn't really played before on the sites, because I was like, okay, well, I don't need my database for this. And I played them, and I was like shocked at how much worse the players were in the tournaments and the cash games. And obviously, I had that 13K score that day. I came fifth, I think, or something like that, in the big Full Tilt Sunday tournament. And from there, I was kind of hooked on the tournaments. I really enjoyed just the different dynamics, different stages of the tournament. And before that, I'd just been playing cash game, kind of building my bankroll. I'd done pretty well, but the games were starting to get a bit stale, because, you know, cash games, you always feel like you have to keep moving up and up when you're doing well. And I didn't really want the swings of, even if you're the best player in the world, you're playing big cash games, you're going to have crazy swings. So yeah, I just got hooked on tournaments. And then even when I got my buddy to set it all back up, I tried to start playing cash games again, and it just wasn't the same. And yes, that's how I really started, really, because at that point I'd been playing cash for maybe over a year and been doing well. But obviously, cash and tournaments, there's different, levels of. I was just going under the radar kind of thing.
Did you multi-table? Was it mad? Did you have screens absolutely everywhere?
Oh yeah, I was one of the biggest multi-tablers. I was just like, my philosophy was like, if you're not in it, you can't win it. But like, also I didn't really have a timeout and stuff. I was 99% of the decisions were like real quick for me. I was always been amazing at maths, like one of my strongest point. And so like, I just would put different tournaments on, I had like 2 screens, and I'd put them at different parts of the screen, which ones were important to me, which ones were getting deep. And so I just did it like that. And I would pay more attention to the ones that were obviously deep in the tournament, and I would late register a lot of tournaments, so that I just didn't miss the tournament, but I could still play and just come in a bit later when the blinds are bigger. Yeah.
So basically, it more or less gave you the impetus that this was a career and this was it. What were the parents like? What were the family like? Or did you keep them under the radar for a year or two?
Well, yeah, kind of pretty funny. Maybe a year or 2 or 10 almost. No. Well, because what happened was I was playing at university and sort of going to less and less of my lectures, doing really well. At first, it was just sort of a bit of fun, and then I was making some serious money, and I was like, wow, maybe I can do this for a career. And then it almost got to the point where I had to do it for a career, because I basically had to drop out of university because I got so far behind. I tried to stop playing and catch up with my studies, do my dissertations, which is like 10,000 word document on your subject. But yeah, I just couldn't get past the first sentence, really. So I went into the I went into the dean of the university and told him that I was gonna sort of leave my degree, and he was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" And I told him poker, and he kind of laughed in my face. And the only person I really told outside my friends was my sister, and was my younger sister, and I got her to because I had to confide in someone, and I knew my parents wouldn't probably jump at the chance their son's going to be a gambler and play poker. But at this stage, I didn't even know if I could do it myself. I was, I'd had a few good months and stuff, but yeah, I didn't know if it was sustainable. So yeah, I just grinded, stayed at university. A couple of my friends were in a lower year than me, so I just stayed on the campus and played a lot of poker. Just took up all the information I could and got better and better, and paid off all my student loans. And then in the end, when at the end of my university, I ended up making up that I passed my degree essentially, which, but I went for I basically said I got a third, which is the lowest pass possible. So they kind of believed me, my parents. But obviously I didn't have a degree to go and get a job. So I had to tell them, that I wanted to give poker a try, and they were very skeptical. But my dad gave me, he'd seen that I paid off all my student loans. So obviously they were happy about that I didn't have any debts and stuff, and I had some money in the bank. And he wrote down all the money I had in every poker site, had all my bank account details, everything. And he gave me 6 months to see how much, essentially I'd increased my bankroll in that 6 months to see if it was sustainable to live on and stuff. So that 6 months, at the time, I guess I was like 20, 21 years old. And I was just like, all my friends are going out on a Friday night, and I was just like, I've got to stay in and play poker. Like I have to play every day to just, make sure I hit hit enough money where my dad's going to be impressed and let me do this as a career, not send me back to school kind of thing. So I really didn't want to go back. And yeah, luckily those 6 months went really well. I qualified for the World Series, my first ever World Series at that point, got smoked there. So that was a bad start because obviously, you know, Vegas always gets you, do a bunch of money there. So then I had to grind it back even harder. And yeah, that 6 months went well and just kind of went from there really. But it wasn't actually until my second book came out where I like kind of said some of these stories and stuff that my parents didn't know. I never told them that I hadn't got my degree until like 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, I had to break the news just before the book came out, but luckily yeah, it all worked out in the end.
Your first few live tournaments, your first Ending Mob, 124th in the World Series 2K for 4,056. That was June 2008.
Right.
What was it like playing in Vegas for the first time? And how did you find it good at Vegas? Because obviously you played a lot online. So playing live to playing online, did you just have the complete contrast and thought this is just as easy as playing online?
No, far from it. And to be fair, that like, you know, that's my first tournament cash, but I played quite a few tournaments before that and not even cashed. Yeah, as I said, I'd gone to I think it was it 2000, maybe the 2007 World Series, or maybe it was 2006, which was the one that Jamie Gold won. It was that one. It was
2000. That was 2006.
Okay, so I played that one, and obviously you just said that my first cash was in 2008, so I'd obviously played a few tournaments in between as well. But I was sticking, mainly I stuck to sort of what was my bread and butter, playing online, and if I satellite into a tournament online, I'd go and play the live tournament. But yeah, I didn't have much live experience, and it was quite a different game to me, just like dealing, you know, just so many differences. So it definitely took a lot of time for me to get used to it, even like the first sort of 3 years after I cashed, I never really cashed anything big, like compared to what the buy-ins were. I was definitely a losing player at live poker to begin with. And just trial and error really, and like just perseverance. And then, you know, I think it was 2011, it all kind of clicked for me. And it wasn't even that I was doing anything that different compared to before in live poker, but you know, I was just winning the key flips, winning the key hands, had a little bit of extra confidence to go with my read and stuff. And yeah, I think in 2011, I sort of had a breakout year in live poker and actually started showing that I could be a winning player live as well as online, rather than before, where I was just sort of winning online. And then every time I played a live tournament, never cash in or min cash in, never make the final table. So yeah, it was quite a transformation.
Well, the first time we ever met, was
a long time ago.
It was the same year, 2008. It was Luton, the GUKPT. You finished 17th out of 376 entries. Can you remember who won it?
Yeah, of course, cricket. Yeah, I gave him all the chips as well. With like 17 left, I started his career for sure. And it was funny because the night before we'd met, I think we'd been staying at the same hotel, and they had a pool table, and he's really good at pool, and I play a lot of pool, as I already said. So we played a few games of pool. I was chatting to him, and actually he's and his friend, who actually I knew more than Sam at the time, Pete Linden. And yeah, then we happened to both go deep in the tournament, and we played a huge hand. And my friends still make fun of me for this hand to this day. And you were actually in the background. I could hear you in the middle of the hand with your loud, booming voice. And it was like I think it was a 3-bet pot, and I had a pair of queens, and I think it came like 2, 3, 4. So like pretty safe flop. And Sam check called, and then turn was a 5, so pretty bad card for me. Obviously, any ace makes a straight now. But then the river was a queen, and so I now made top set. And Sam shoved all into me, and in my head, I was like, you know, like in this spot, he never really. He either has an ace, or he's turning like pair of 9s or pair of 8s into a bluff. And I thought he was capable enough to do it, so I ended up calling. I didn't. Like, it was back in the day when people didn't really call free bets out of position very much. I was, especially when online, like I was used to people just folding or four betting. Maybe live poker, you know, was quite different. But I basically thought if he had ace king, he would have been all in before the flop. So I didn't put him on an ace king. And if he had ace queen, I blocked, and you know there wasn't many combinations left of that because I had two queens. And so ace jack offsuit, I thought he would fold before flop. And so yeah, I ended up calling him because I thought he's turning like a sixes, not six, sevens, eights, nines, tens, all into a bluff. And yeah, he just had ace jack, and I looked very silly, and it was a huge pot. And I just remember behind me, you were saying something about, oh, Chris Moore has called, and he can't even beat an ace. Oh wow, Nido as well. As I'm but yeah, that was my first big sort of deep run in a good tournament. So it was exciting for sure. But yeah, it was definitely very memorable as well.
Sam got the trophy. You did indeed.
Yeah, I used to use my chips wisely.
But in 2008, it wasn't all bad because he became the world's #1 for the very first time. Had you been chasing it? Was this something that you obviously you're keeping control of what you were doing online? You were knowing you were there. You were top 10, top 5, #1. What did it mean?
At the time, oh, it meant everything to me. It's like what I'd sort of devoted the last sort of few years of my life to. I was playing poker at that stage way more than even now. Like I was playing 6, 7, sometimes 7 days a week, every week, all day, long days. But like to me, it didn't feel long, you know, like the hours went so fast. I was really enjoying it. I loved the game. I was just learning all the time, getting better. And so it wasn't like, to me, it wasn't a job. I was just doing what I loved doing. So, but yeah, once I discovered Pocket Fives and saw the rankings, obviously you start at the bottom in the thousands, and I was like always wanted to get into the top 100, so I could start talking. Like my thing was like I wanted to talk strategy with the other sort of top players, but I didn't want to message them before they were while they were ranked higher than me, because I thought they wouldn't accept talking to me, kind of thing. So I was like, okay, once I'm in the top 100, I can chat to this guy and message him. And so I kept like moving up, and it gave me incentives to keep moving up. And then obviously, you know, like making #1, we always thought, oh, wow, maybe, you know, you dreamed of it, but you didn't think it was possible. But then, you know, suddenly you start making top 20, you think, wow, I could maybe do this if I run good for a couple of months, win a big one. And yeah, so to finally get there was an amazing feeling. It felt like a real accomplishment, you know. And like at the end of the day, like the rankings, a lot of it was playing. You had to play a lot to get up there because of the volume thing. But normally, if you were, you know, it was like to get #1, you had to be doing well as well. So it was definitely a sign that I sort of was being successful as well.
Yeah, I think one of the first videos we'd done, and we've obviously, because we've been in lockdown, we've been rerunning some of the videos on Grosvenor and the GUKPT. You were sat talking with Adam Clark from Blackpool, Clarkatroyd.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, I think you said in the interview you just dropped away from #1, but you were going to get it back. So it was a fantastic interview. There were no chin hair.
Yeah, no.
We'll try and dig it out for you and send a link, because it was a fantastic video. You and Clark were just bouncing off each other, because obviously you knew a lot about him playing so much volume online.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I met him as well. So I sort of played him online. So that's always exciting when you got to meet people in real life after you played a lot against them online and stuff. And you know, it was weird. Like even though you sort of didn't know each other that well, like you kind of, if you felt like you knew each other for years, kind of thing. Like I met a few of, even at my wedding, like a couple of guys who are like in my groomsmen party. I met them through, you know, I met them 10 plus years ago through poker, and we've stayed close friends ever since.
Yeah. Now we can't not have an interview with Chris Moorman and talking about the father in the GUKPT circuit.
Yeah, he'll be like, why are you
in Manchester? This is one of the greatest little stories of a GUKPT title. I do believe it was a birthday present. Is that correct?
Yeah, belated birthday present, because I was at the time I was living in Australia, and my dad's birthday is on Valentine's Day, and so I didn't get back till, I guess I got back from Australia in like March, so it was a month after my dad's birthday, and I was like, oh, what do you want for your birthday? And he was like, oh, God, it's gone now. You missed it. Blah blah blah, moaning. So I was like, come on, give me an idea. And then I actually came up with an idea. I was like, how about this? I'm gonna like. He was playing a bit of poker, just on online, but low stakes. He'd only really ever played one live tournament before, and that was a £10 rebuy at Southend Casino. So a little bit different. But I was like, how about this? I'm going to go up and play this tournament in Manchester. It's £1,000 to buy in. I'll buy you in, and like we can work out maybe like a backing deal or something. I'll buy you in, and no pressure. We'll both play the tournament and go up. Have like a father and son bonding weekend kind of thing, and just have a good time and have fun with it. And he was a bit reluctant at first because he didn't want to embarrass me, and he'd never really played live, so he was a bit nervous. But in the end, he agreed to go, and that was good for me as well because I don't drive, so he gave me a lift up there.
Ulterior motive.
Yeah, it was an expensive Uber, but whatever. No. So anyway, we both played the tournament. This was at the stage as well where still dusting hard in live poker, never done anything good. And so I'm thinking, okay, this could be the one for me. And anyway, we get to first break, and he's enjoying meeting everyone. He's meeting all the lads, kind of thing that he's sort of followed online because he really enjoyed railing me and stuff like that. So he met Trig, a few of the other boys, and on first break, we were all chatting, you know, how everyone does. Oh, I'm up to this chip stack or whatever. And he's tripled up. I don't even know how. He must have been getting out of line for sure. But I was like, okay, you need to chill out. Like, you've got some chips now. Play patient. It's a long tournament. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So I was trying to coach him on breaks. And yeah, after day one, we both made it through, and we were both actually top 10 in chips. So that was really kind of exciting. So like, we're up for a few hours at night, sort of chatting like two mates kind of thing, adrenaline's pumping, trying to get some sleep before day two. And then day two comes about, and I ended up losing a big hand. I actually get knocked out 5 before the money, so I was a bit gutted because I was thinking, oh, this is my tournament kind of thing. But I regrouped, went to the bar, got a few beers with a few of the guys, and then went to rail my dad because he was still in. And you know, at first he just wanted to make the money, made the money, he had a decent stack, and then after that, though, he really wanted to make the final table, and that's where it kind of started going a little bit wrong because he started changing his game, and he played too tight, and he was blinding out, and he got down short. And I tried to tell him on the break, okay, if you get anything, you're going to be big blind after the break. If you get anything in the big blind, just go with it. You know, you're only down to like 8 big blinds or something like that, I think. Yeah, so it's like anything half decent, king 9, whatever, go with it if it's a late position open. And folded to the legend of UK poker, Surinder Sarnar, on the button, and he was chip leader at the time, so he was playing very aggressive, like raising every hand. No one was really playing back at him, and he's 3.5x'd it on the button like everyone did back then. And my dad was in the big blind. He pushed all his chips in like Phil Helmer style. I was like, okay, I'm on the round, like saying, no, he's got a good one here. That's good, yes. And then Surinder's in the tank because, you know, he's probably pot committed at this stage, made it 3.5 big blinds. My dad only had like 8 big blinds, but obviously he's got a good hand by the way he's tanking. So I'm like, okay, we're going to be in good shape here. And he finally calls, and they flip over the cards. And Surinder had like Jack 5 off, and I was like, oh wow, hopefully my dad's got like him dominated, like jacks, queens, like ace jack, something like that. Yeah. And my dad just proudly flipped over his 10-6 offsuit. I was just like, what the fuck? And then before I knew it, they just dealt the flop, and it came 7-8-9. He just flopped the straight. And he was like, yeah, I told you, I knew. He's like, and then he doubled up there, and he just like turned into a new person. He just like went back to his old self, just going like playing every hand, and got to the final table, and everyone else was trying to ladder up, play ICM, and my dad was just going for it, putting them in a coffin, and ended up getting heads up, and yeah, the rest is history. Like, it was crazy because I was watching. It was so weird watching on the rail because it was out of my control. I couldn't, it was down to him, and I was so nervous for him. But yeah, for him to get the win was just really a fairy tale. And then it kind of like the reality sunk in, because then he started giving me shit for having a bigger cash for the next year of my life. I had to like focus more on live poker because I was like, I can't have this for forever. Everyone in me is to tell them that I was a professional poker player, but he had a bigger cash than me. So yeah.
Well, he finished 13th in the Champion of Champions as well, and that's his only 2 Ender mob. Like that's the only 2 cash he's got on the Ender mob. The Champion of Champions are winning the GUKPT.
No, he always says, I've probably got one of the highest ROIs in live poker, like, because you know, he didn't really start playing much. He played like one World Series poker event, like a 1500. He got some of the boys to buy a piece of him when he came over to see me in Vegas one year. And I think that's about it, really. So he's played like 3 or 4 live tournaments ever, cashed 2 of them and won one. I was like, must be nice. And then he always tells me whenever I go and see him, I go to his house to play online or whatever, and he's playing online as well. And he'll be moaning about all these bad beats he's getting. He's saying, I'm the unluckiest poker player ever. And I'm just like, you do realize how good you ran to win that tournament. Like the tournament was like 100 times by him, but yeah.
Brilliant! It was a fantastic story, and something we have actually mentioned it quite a few times. Whenever you do pop up or on the live stream, and we do mention yourself, and you've won something big, and we just have to quickly mention that the story of your dad is just, to me, it is one of the nicest and best stories of while we've done the GUKPTs. It really is.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, even, you know, all the highs and lows that I've had in poker, like, it's still like my most memorable moment. It wasn't even involving me directly. Like, it was just surreal. It was, yeah, such a great day.
You touched on Australia. The Aussie Millions in 2011, 721 entries, final table, 7th for 173k. Were you a bit disappointed, or pretty pleased that you finished 7th out of such a massive field?
Mainly happy, because like that was the first time I've ever at that point made a big live final table, so it's such a buzz. And also, like, I was free rolling anyway, because on day one, I was chatting with Toby Lewis, and he was kind of mugging off my live game, and I asked him to put his money where his mouth is, so he gave me 5-2, I think, on making day 2 of the tournament, because in that tournament it's quite hard to make day 2. It's a long day 1, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do good in this one. He was like, no, you're not. I'm not swapping you or whatever. And I was like, what the, you know? So we had a bet. So I bet I was like, what's your max amount? And he said 5k. So I bet max amount 5k at 5-2 that I make day 2, and made day 2 of a good stack. Actually, it was kind of stupid of me. Like, you know, most people, if they got that much money riding on it, more than the buying of the tournament, would sort of, you know, play tight near the end of the day. But I was telling my whole table that I had this bet. So then I was just pretending I had basically had the nuts every hand and just re-raising them and going crazy. Even on the last hand of the day, John Eames was on my table, and he knew about the bet, and he raised under the gun. And, you know, we always give John shit for being a tight player. He's raised under the gun. He's the only person who covers me at the table. I've locked it up. There's no need to get involved. And I just see King 4 suited in the calf, and I had to free bet him and, you know, start barreling away, but he folded on the turn. So I was like, but I had absolutely nothing as well. So I showed him there, and he was just like, you're an idiot. But yeah, so I won the bet, and then made a deep run in the tournament. It was really fun. That tournament goes 6 max as well, which is my favorite game, with like on the final couple of days. So yeah, it was really cool. There was made the final table actually with James Keys, like well-known UK, blast from the past, and Patrick Antonius is on the final table as well. And I tried to bluff him. That was my big downfall. Tried to fight. To be fair, he tanked for a couple of minutes with trips, so it couldn't have been that bad a bluff. So I was trying to get him to fold a little bit of a worse hand than that. But yeah, so it was believable. But yeah, that was where it all started going wrong for me. And like, but you know, like, still, it was a great score and an amazing experience. And you know, my friends were there watching and stuff, so it gave me the live poker bug and made me want to play more.
You said 2011 was probably the breakout year for yourselves. When you go to the World Series, you've just said that 6 max is probably your best game. 3rd out of 1,378 for 271, and also cashed in the 5k 6 max, finishing 11th. Incredible scores. And then 12 days later, so these 3 events are just going on and on and on. You just missed out on a bracelet. 2nd out of 474 in the 6 max 10k. 3 massive scores, but obviously the bracelet and the runner-up. Was that a highlight low at the time?
No, definitely a highlight. Like, the bracelet didn't, like, obviously it would have been nice, but it didn't mean as much to me then as it would a couple of years later kind of thing. Like, I was just happy to finally, you know, I've been going every year and sort of losing money and then having to get it back online afterwards. And now, like, have, you know, like the buzz of the final table, all your friends watching, all the British Rail chanting. It was just, I just wanted to do well and not go out, you know, first on the final table, make it deep. And the first one, you know, the 2.5K 6 Mets came third, was just that was, I think, like one of the first rails where everyone was doing shoe bombs and drinking, which, you know, like, to anyone who doesn't know, is drinking beer.
There.
Yeah, drinking beer out their shoe and going crazy. And I remember actually had like kind of fucked me over on one hand because we were 3 left, and I played this hand where I was in the 9 seat and the guy I was playing was in the 1 seat. I don't know why we didn't all move around. But I couldn't really see him in the hand, which didn't really bother me because, like, live poker, I kind of wanted to hide anyway. Still at this stage, I wasn't looking for reads on my opponents. And I've opened ace-2 blind on blind, and he's called, and I was kind of short step, and it came king 5-4, and so I got gut shot, and I bet, and he raised. And to me at the time as well, it didn't really make much sense. I felt like he was weak, and I was like, okay, whatever. If he's got king, he's got king. I got an ace or 3 to hit. So I shoved all in, and he tanked for ages. So I'm like, okay, he would have called already if he had a king. So I thought it was going to fold for sure. And like the rails chanting, and then like out of nowhere, there's like a big cheer. So I wasn't even looking. I was just staring at the felt, just doing my thing that I did every time. And I just assumed that he'd folded because they were like cheering that I was chipped the pot. And someone said, show the deuce. And I was like, wow, there's not very often you get the chance to do this. So I just sort of looked across and flipped over the deuce. And then as I'm flipping it over, I realized he still had cards. And then now there was another. I'm like, oh no, now what the hell? Like, what's going on here? And then he tanked for another minute, and then he called me with ace deuce. So then we chopped the hand. But like, obviously, I don't know what was going on in the whole hand, to be honest. But yeah, we ended up chopping that hand. But obviously, it could have all been different. But no, overall, I was really happy with the results. Like, tough tournaments as well. The 10K 6 Mets was a very tough tournament. I got heads up against the player. I played online a lot of the time, so it wasn't someone that I felt like I had a big edge against. And we played a marathon match, had to come back the next day and finish it off. But yeah, it just didn't work out for me in either of those at the end. But I was still really happy just to be cashing and making runs and final tables. It just felt unreal, you know. It was almost like back to when I first started playing online and started winning. It was back to that feeling because it had been so long in live poker that I'd been playing and not really doing anything. So to finally start making runs was just an amazing feeling. It was kind of better than if I'd have just come straight into live poker and started winning instantly. It wouldn't have been nearly the same rush.
Well, you obviously 2011, and it is just such a fantastic year for yourself, and it'll always be etched in the memory. But it was the first time that the World Series Poker Europe wasn't in London. It moved to Cannes in France. And second again.
Yeah, I worked on that heads up game. Nah, this was crazy as well because I kind of felt like I had massive unfinished business in this tournament because when it was at the Empire Casino in London, one of my first big live poker runs, like, it was a really long tournament as well. We were on, I think it was day 4, and we're still winning the money. But I had a big stack on the bubble, and I was feeling really good, really confident. And even like one of the guys at my table went to the bar just so they could cash. So, you know, there was a weird dynamic where we're just, you know, that blind sitting out. So me and Johnny Lodden had big chips, and we were both taking it in turns. Kind of, there was a mutual agreement almost, but we hadn't really clashed yet. But we were both the most aggressive players at the table, building up our stacks. And I was basically, you know, like 99 times out of 100, I'm going to cash in this spot, and let alone, like, I felt like over 50% of the time I'm going to final table because only 27 people cash. So once you're in the money, you know, you got a real shot at making it, especially because I had over 100 big blinds. And we go on dinner break, like 3 off the money. A bunch of my friends came down, just sort of sweat the tournament. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to cash for at least, I think min cash was real decent, like maybe like £30,000. So it was huge. And I was like, okay, I'll just shout everyone a steak dinner. So we go for a nice steak dinner on dinner break, like 10 of us. Buy everyone dinner, no big deal. I'm going to cash for 30K. Come back, I get king
Oh, we've got facial recognition on and everything. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 1B. We'll get these squares off there. Little box, big box, ball box. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to go again. First day of action for the main event. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Turnout yesterday, 185 entries, which I can't remember getting that close to 200 on a day one before.
No.
So
185. Great to do the high roller as well yesterday. I thought it was really good, and obviously with TJ winning it, Mr. Terry Jordan Jr. Terry Jordan Senior. Terry Jordan Senior had to ban you from the chat box last night for spoiling it. Don't do it again. Some of that. My lad wins. My lad wins. We're not even started heads up.
Tower weren't happy. He weren't happy.
There's rules. There's rules. Your boy, we know. Excited, yes. Give it to yourself. Anyway, well done, TJ Junior. Well done, TJ Junior. Honestly, it was a fantastic effort. Really was. Well done. We'll get straight to the game, and we'll bring you the names around the table, and we'll get these squares off our faces because we look like cardboard. Back to the table. So, in seat number 1 will be Ewan McNicholas. Seat number 2. Hello. No way! No, come here. Come here, stand behind us. Come here and stand behind us. Put yourself there. Now, we've got facial recognition. That's going to come off in it.
Excellent.
Just tell everybody who you are.
Well, I'm the Dingadonger.
Yeah, the Dingadonger.
Online, basically,
the greatest name online, the Dingadonger. Is that Zacabello?
Yeah.
So, where does Zacabello come from?
Bolton.
Bolton. Yeah. Why Zacabello?
My middle name's Zachary.
All right, okay.
Last name's Bell, so
I thought it was Bolton.
that's where Ding Dong comes from.
I thought it. The Dingadonga. I thought it was a Bolton striker from the past or something like that. When you used to be good, you know.
No, it's not that thoughtful, really. It's just my name.
Nice one.
People used to call me Ding Dong, so I'm not sure if my online skills will transfer to the live felt, but let's see it.
Love it. The Dingadonga in the building. Good luck, young man.
Great job, lads. Anyway.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. The Dingadonga is in the building. Love it. Loving it. Is that Tina Bandale? It's out in seat 9. It is. Tina's on the feature. Not so much that. Look who's in seat number 6. Carlo Citrone. His arms are bigger than they were last time I saw him. He looks like Popeye. Carlo Citrone, look at it, looks like Popeye. It's good to see him. Carlo Citrone sat in seat number 6. Lucas in 2. We've got in seat number 7 we've got Gabriel Ennie, and in seat number 8 on his way will be Mr. Leon Campbell. So players coming to the table very shortly. As you know, as a start of a tournament, we do get short-handed tables. So if people do not want to sit down for the first level, which is a bit of a shame, but yes, here we are, ready for the start of the action. Yes, the facial recognition. Apologies about that. That'll be taken off. Carlos been running deep lately, has he really? I've not seen him in any tournament at all anywhere. Carlos Citrone used to play all the TV tournaments on Late Night Poker, on Poker Night Live. I think he was one of the original sponsored players at Dustle Dome when that opened in 2009. Wow, good to see him. And starting off with a pretty decent pot, Gabriel rivering the nut flush. Lucas just with one pair, 2,500 to call. Don't think he's going to be making the call in the early stages.
No, where is this?
But he does make the call with the 10. He does make the call with the 10. Yeah, good to see Carlos Citroni back at the tables. If you want to hear stories from the old days, Carlos, your man. Over $1 million in earnings. I've not seen him at the Felts for a couple of years, to be fair. The last time he cashed. Let's have a look. When was the last time he actually cashed? Last year. Played Vozvodov last year. Before that was 5 years ago.
6 years ago. Well,
we're in 2022.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah,
2016, 6 years ago, so it doesn't feel like it.
2016. Amazing. Vozvodov last month. Yeah, somebody just said, did he final table the midi? Did he final table the midi? Well, we've always said it's 4 game.
10th in the midi.
10th in the midi. Carlo?
4 grand.
Very nice indeed.
Gabriel semi-bluffing with the second up flush draw, gets Tina to fold the best of it. Just early stages, so deep. Players settling in. That should all be sorted now, Tower. The old square should be gone.
No way. Gone.
Done.
We are back.
Gabriel involved again. King 4 in the small blind, raises to 400, and Tina 3-betting as she should. Blind on blind here to 1.6. For this amount of bigs, Gabriel happy to come along out of position.
Queen 3 King.
Yeah, going to get in some trouble, Tower. Both players flopping top pair. Tina with nut kick up for hers. Tina just going to come out firing here.
Yeah.
Starting to get some value from her top pair.
Calling once.
At least, Tower.
Shouldn't be calling a 3-bet and you flop top pair and folding. Even I don't do that.
I'm surprised.
I don't call the 3-bet with King 4.
Yeah, that's the thing, Tower. I'm surprised he's actually in this coup versus Tina here. like fine to raise it blind on blind, but I just think once Tina 3 bets 4x and we're out of position, it's better to let it go. But Gabrielle now is involved, and there's already 7.2k in the middle here. 9.5 on the turn. This stage of the day might be one that Tina elects to check behind tower for a bit of pot control, bit of deception, and then try and get our value on the river. Yeah, I like this a lot from Tina, very nice from her. Bit of a deceptive factor, and then if we get the check from Gabriel here, although he may choose the small after the check from Tina to lead small.
I think it'll be a check call again. I think that's the way he's playing the hand. I think he's going to let Tina have a little dabble on the river.
Yeah.
I think he's going to call.
Yeah, she's played this hand perfectly, Tower. The check back on the turn and then going for this value on
Perfect.
the river. It's just got maximum value there, and understanding that on this board the ace king is going to be a 2-street hand, and just deducting that the best way to get our 2 streets of value is checking the turn and firing river with position. Really well played from her. Nice to see.
What's she watching? Holmes under the hammer. Is that what she's watching?
Well, there's no tennis on, is there? So she's usually watching the
Aye,
tennis.
the golf. Be golf later.
Ah, yeah, we'll
she likes the golf.
Jason Day. Who gave me that tip yesterday? So who gave me the Jason Day tip?
Somebody walking past. No, Ian Boss.
Boss. Yeah, he's 4 under. He's 4 under after the first round.
All right, okay.
Still in the mix. Tied 15th. 20-1.
Nice. Well done, Boss.
Still got a few rounds, obviously, but at least I went on this morning. I thought, just don't be like +3, +4. Like just scrolling down, I saw him.
Nice one. Not a bad start then. Yeah, it looks like he's got a bad shoulder, doesn't it, Carlo?
Your attention, please. Gary Banks, Jamie.
Good to see him at the tables.
Richard Blanding, Catalan, Tony, and Jerry. Please make your way to the desk. Thank you.
Who's bashing the table?
Yeah, it's like we're on the sea.
Who's doing that? Good heck. No need for that. It's these chairs, you see. When they bash into the back boards, obviously there's no need to bash the chairs into the back boards. But when they do, obviously that's what happens. The seat 3 sits down. 4 hearts on the board.
Should be check back fold tower. Gabriel can comfortably go for value here with a third nut flush. Try and get called by some worse potential hearts. We expect Carlo to lead most of his ace or queen of hearts in this spot once he did have the betting lead. But Gabriel not choosing to fire here with a jack of hearts. Surprised about that one. I just think when Carlo has the betting lead, if he's got the ace or queen of hearts in his hand, he's just going to continue firing this river to prevent the check behind. So, surprised. Didn't fancy the value bet there, Gabriel.
Bosman just sitting down with his 200 big blind stack. Well, definitely look like the chairs in seat 4 and 5 that are not being used at the moment. Bashing into the background for some reason. His arms are huge.
They're not arms, they're legs, Tower. They're not arms. They're literally legs. They're big pyramid legs.
Right, it is. I don't know if I want to shake his hand or not. I'd end up with crushed bones in my fingers. Start of the day with 110 players as well. Early stages. We are now concentrating on the main event for the rest of the week. Great to have the cash on the Wednesday and the high roller yesterday.
So Gabriel opening under the gun, king 6 off. Carlo happy to defend the queen 9.
Ace 6 8.
Not much going on here.
No.
Pot's just going to go Gabriel's way with his C-bet, assuming that he does decide to continue.
I was speaking to Chris last night,
Yeah.
the dealer.
Yeah.
He's got 3 days off after this one
Yeah.
to the next event.
Yeah.
Where's he going?
Hungary.
No. He's from Hungary.
Yeah.
It was a good guess, but he's not going to Hungary. He's got 3 days off.
Yeah.
3 days.
Okay.
That's travelling whatever time it is and then coming back. So he's got to
I'm
be
guessing,
back. He's
yeah.
got to be back after 2.5
Okay,
days.
I'm guessing the fact that you've asked me this question is going to be somewhere that you probably shouldn't really go to for 3 days. I'm going to go to the States. That's going to be my guess.
He's going to Greece.
Oh, Greece, okay, closer than the States, but
I says, why are you going to Greece? I says, for a start, it's -2. They've had snow for the first time in 25 years. Why are you going to Greece? Because it was $7.99.
is that what he said?
It's got a flight with no baggage,
Yeah.
because now baggage is like 60 quid for travelling with baggage.
Yeah.
He's got no baggage, he's taking a little bag, hold on. It's $7.99 for the flight, and he's having 2 days in Greece and coming back and then working in Reading, or working wherever he's going next. Why Greece? He went, I was just looking, it was $7.99. I booked it. I said, where are you going to stay? He went, anywhere. I said, I don't really mind. That's brilliant. Just looked on flights and thought, right, that's where I'm going. It's 8 quid. I'm off. So fair enough. Absolutely brilliant. Saw Spand earlier. He's grown a beard. Looks different.
Yeah, he does.
Looks different. He's grown a beard. Oh, the White Lion was no good last night. Afternoon, gents. Was a cold deck last night at the White Lion. Needless to say, the dealer left faster than the dealer did on curfew on Thursday night on the feature table. Get me out of here. Oh, the White Lion was good, Fletch. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you had the stream on. Just quickly, while we are just dealing the next stand, these are the chip counts from last night. Look at the number of entries, by the way. 185 for a day 1A. 185. That's just, I'm not being funny, that's massive. It's just over, about 13% up on last year. And we ended up with 591 runners last year for this event that you and McNicholas won.
Yep.
591 entries last year. So we're up on that from this. 49 making it through. Have a look there, see if you see some big names that have made it through and have got today off because they can't play multi-flights to try and get themselves a bigger stack. That doesn't happen. Chunlo, Adam Miller, Big TR's on form. Yanis Lipris with a stack. Some good names. Harry Lodge again.
Jack bagged.
Jack Hardcastle.
He just
bagged.
must busted the high roller and just flicked straight in the main, I take it. Okay.
That's the way.
That is the way.
That's the way. But see
No
Ben
time,
yeah.
no time for rest.
Ali Sharkashik is always there. Ben Roberts, Connor Healis, plenty of names.
Yeah, Riggy bagging up. Kenny Hullart, another one. He come fifth in the high roller and obviously flicked straight in. These guys just love it.
I play for 8 tires.
25 bag as well. Kenny got, I think.
How do you do
25k.
that? How do you go from blinds at 20k, 40k to going back to blinds at 200, 400? How do you do that? How do you get mental?
It's just love for the game, ain't it? You're just happy to get straight back in. You want to play as many tournaments as you can.
Yeah. Chris McGuire bagging up 20,000. The fruit shoot 4. And hopefully we should be getting you and McNicholas on our feature table very shortly.
He's just walked past the booth live, so I'm guessing in 30 minutes time we will see Ewan.
Excellent. So all the names there, we'll flick that up again to show you how many people actually made it through. But 49 making it through is pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, good stack from Rennie Share.
Yeah, chip lead for
Chip
Rene.
leader.
That's quite surprising as well, Tao, because Rene's style, it's not like the style of poker that usually is going to bag up the chip lead. So interesting that she has bagged it up. She plays very well, but she's not like the volatile type that can either bust a lot and make a big stack. A very good day for Rene.
It was indeed. Like how they walked to the bar. Have you got the chip counts? Can you tell me who's leading?
Who walked to the bar?
Rennie.
Oh, did she?
Hi, Tower. Are you alright? Yeah. Have you got the chip counts? Have you got a few of you? Have you got some?
I bet.
You just instantly know they've not got 10 bigs, don't you?
Well, Carlo's not going to peel the king six. Hang on a second, why this is going into the muck? I bet Conor O'Driscoll didn't come up to you at the bar and ask for the chip counts.
No.
No.
Tower, can you tell the chip counts, please? No. Conor never came up. He did come up and apologise from his when he came into the comms box at the last event. Yeah. When he'd had 11 starter problems.
That will knock you back. Great effort from Rene yesterday, and get back to the table seeing Carlos fold the king six.
It's a great stack. It's 200 and
it's 13x Tower. Yeah, that's definitely not the golf Tina's watching.
No. Is it Emmerdale? Corrie? No.
They come back level 11. So we play 10 levels today, Cardsmith. So blinds when they come back are 6, 12. Final level today is 500, 1,000. So if you do want to buy into day 2, it's around 16 big blinds.
King 9 flop.
Tina could potentially fire small here, Tower, if it's checked to her with the 8s, but it's actually Gabrielle who's going to take initiative here, and she's happy to call once in position.
Ten of hearts on the river. Did you just check probably?
Yep, spot on Tower, should be.
Yeah. Turns over the 8. Another pot to Tina. Starting well, Tina Vandale sat in seat number 9. So welcome on board everybody. It is 2 flights today. The one 60-minute clock has started now, and at 9 o'clock the turbo will start, and they both finish around about the same time at the end of the evening. We have side events, we'll show you those for tomorrow. A couple of side events on Saturday, a couple of side events on Sunday as we head down to crowning a champion on Sunday evening, whenever that will be. And we've got Coventry's schedule to show you. That's in place as well. No news about Goliath yet. Not being given the go ahead and not even being told what's happening with Goliath. But if there is any news over the weekend with Jim, he will let us know, I am sure. No news as yet Only the dates are set for July for like the schedule. Like the World Series, we just like to keep you on tenterhooks. As the World Series has not announced their schedule yet.
So Gabriel been super active tower to start the day. I think he's probably working with like near 80% VPIP here. He's been involved in almost every hand. Opening ace-5 here in the hijack. Tina could have potentially 3-bet the 9-7 of hearts here for that reason. How active Gabrielle had been,
nice
could
flop
veer, yeah, lovely flop, could veer towards 3-bet, but she's just going to take this down. Once checked her with her 9 high, big draw.
As you say, Tower's got the power. There you go, the VPIP.
Look, so close to 80%, it's 90.
Not at all, 90%. There you go. Amazing what you can do when you get the power to press buttons.
Have you got 2 on? There's one
I can do what you want.
overlapping.
I can give you what you want. That's the VPIP. They're the chip counts. 90%. Afternoon, Ricky Kebabs. Good afternoon.
How we doing, Ricky?
Oh, things are well. No action for the boots as we get everybody folding after the initial raise. Welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen. This is day 1B of the main event, 1250. Main event, 591 runners for this event last year when we started, and we thought it was going to be a crazy year, and it turned out to be exactly that. It was good, and this year started exactly the same. Numbers being very, very good all week. The high roller insanely had 17 buy-ins for day 2.
So Tina and Gabrielle going at it again.
9-9-5 flop.
Yeah, nice flop for Tina. Not choosing to continue here. I think with pocket 8s, going to have lots of bets on this board. Happy to take it down now. The 9XT to Gabrielle's overs. He will have plenty of 9XO in the big blind, so that may have been the reason Tina not opting to continue. 6 of diamonds on the end does give Tina the check mark, and Gabrielle not going to fire. And the 8s are good.
Tina starting roll 27,000. How many of those 17s cashed? One of them won it.
3, I think. Ryan come 15th, first one out after the bubble. We had Ewan, who was 5th, and then TJ Jr. that won it.
Terry Jordan Jr. bought in for day 2 with 6 big blinds. Bought in, flick it in, and won it. We saw Ewan McNicholas go from 30,000 up to 130,000 within about 4 hands. Just shows you it can be done. Yeah, you need that little bit of luck and a bit of fortune when you are moving all in for your only 6 binds, but you get that bit of fortune and double up, and instantly you're in the game. Do you think that there were any day 2 buy-ins that was the only day they bought in? Do you think there are any unique day 2s?
Yeah. Ewan?
Was he a unique day too?
He was playing the cash game the night before, wasn't he?
Oh, of course he was.
Yeah, Ewan was a unique day too. I'm not sure about anyone else, but we know Ewan was.
Oh, of course. Five, 7 for Carlo. Raising up to 3. Gabriel just calls with the ace-10.
Yeah, can incorporate some free bets in here on the bottom as well. Tower with the ace-10 versus cut-off open, but happy to flat. Fine as well. Both options available. So like the check from Gabriel on this flop. Once we catch second pair, check it behind. If we get the check on the turn, get the green light, start firing. We're just going to have the best hand so often here of our ace-10 now, once it's checked over to us twice. And Carlo has caught a piece here, so might call once. That is what he's going to do.
There's the king on the river.
I'd like to see Gabriel go for thin value here, Tower, once Carlo checks it over to him. But he's going to check behind, simply because the timing that Carlo took on the turn. I think he calls a lot quicker if he picks up backdoor diamonds, or even leads that himself sometimes. So maybe we can take that out of his range, and the king shouldn't ever be in there. The way the hand's played, check twice. Just our ace-10 is going to be the best hand so often in that particular scenario, but thought better of it. Maybe didn't want to get check raised and have to fold. Just happy to pick up what was in the pot. Like value betting is just where so much money can be made. There's just some value bet spots that so many people miss, and like value bets and what are going to make you more than the most big blinds. Scott, who's just joined us at the table, finds pocket eights under the gun. Lucas calling in the small, and Usman happy to defend the ace-8 in the big blind. A flop of queen, jack, deuce, 2 clubs. Check through. This board's pretty good for Lucas here in the small blind. We don't know what he's got, but could potentially see him lead here. He's going to have all the broadways, like king, queen, jack, queen, 10, king 10, so on. These type of hands, defending in the small. I think three-way here. Scott's just probably going to get to showdown and pray that his eights are good. I think it's just too dicey of a board texture to start firing with our eights. We're just happy to try and get to a cheap showdown and just hope we're up against like 2 ace highs or maybe a smaller pair and ace high. Unlikely, yes. But that's probably the case because the eights are good for Scott.
Big shout out to Polly Parkinson from Ireland, who's going in hospital this week for a heart operation. He says we're going to leave it till after the Super Bowl. He says, but I don't think the Super Bowl's going to be a very good game, so I might as well go in. Go on, Parry. See you on the other side, my friend, and hopefully see you and recover it when we're over there for the Irish Open.
What's the Super Bowl final like? Is it basically Liverpool versus Rotherham or City versus Rotherham?
It's close. No, not as big as City. I'd probably say it was something like
Everton,
Tottenham.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Something like that, or something like.
What do you mean, someone like
Well,
Tottenham?
mid-table.
So Everton then, an Everton Rotherham game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rams. To be fair, Rams. I think Rams were about 8-1 to win it. They weren't the number 1 seeds. They weren't number 2 seeds. But they've been playing well. Defence is good, but the Bengals are obviously Rotherham United. Could be a very high-scoring game, to be fair.
Have they just got there by luck, or have they just had a really good season?
Played well. They were on the road for all 3 games, and they beat all the teams they needed to beat.
Owen and Howdy, good afternoon on Twitch. Ace of clubs on the turn, beautiful turn card this for Tina. Should be firing once it gets checked over to her. Katie's here, I can hear the giggles already coming from the bar area. Swifty's in the building.
Katie just said at the bar, I got myself a ticket last night, and whoever she stood with just said, was there many in? And she didn't get the rubs. I think it's time for a cup of tea, young man.
Yeah, that sounds good,
I
Tara.
think it's time for a cup of tea. As you can see right there, this is a seating draw. Lucas Usman in 3, Scott's just joined us in 5, Carlos Citroni, Gabriel and Tina, they're the players coming in. But we will get Ewan and Nicholas, by the way.
Very
Will
soon.
there ever be an event in Cardiff ever again? Says Lanting. I hope so, I really do, but
Never been
the
Wales.
last time a GUKPT overlaid was Cardiff, and I think, and I don't know why the numbers were never brilliant in Cardiff. I don't know why. Fabulous city, fabulous place. It's in a great location. It's on a great big complex. There's a hotel next door. It's in an area where you'd think, why aren't people coming and turning out in hundreds? I'd love it to be. I really would, and hopefully even 25-25s or deep stacks coming back to Cardiff. If the numbers start to improve, obviously the operators, Grosvenor and stuff like that, they just can't put themselves at risk. We're in a situation now, coming out of lockdown and coming out of bad times regarding an industry that's suffered immeasurably through in lockdown, that they just can't put themselves at risk. Would you turn up if there wasn't a guarantee? We know GUKPT doesn't need a guarantee anymore, but I don't know. I'd love to go to Cardiff. It's fantastic. If you ever take the missus round Cardiff, go to Cardiff for a couple of nights.
I've never been.
The Millennium Stadium is literally, they thought of a space in the city centre where it would fit, and they plonked it there. Literally, boom! There's the Millennium Stadium, right in the city centre. It's literally 400 yards from everywhere. It's amazing. But I'd love it, honestly. I would love to go back to Cardiff because I love the city. But it's just one of those. The operators just can't put themselves at risk, and if the people aren't flocking to the place, then they can't really do it. But I'd love to go back, even for a 25-25. I might make the effort just to make if there's a 25-25 in Cardiff
I agree with Roy. What Roy is saying though, Tao, I personally think we are beyond the numbers issue. Regular GUKPT players tend to turn up everywhere we go.
Yeah,
which I agree. Nowadays it's different. Like you go back 6-7 years when the Cardiff leg was. It's
yeah. There are places I don't think they'd ever. Unfortunately, like the places like Portsmouth and Thanet,
Great Yarmouth,
that have had GUKPTs before. Bolton, that have had GUKPTs before, and things and places like that. There is Walsall we don't go to. You know, there are so many places where we'd love to go back to, and we could do an event every week or every 2 weeks. I know last year was different when we did because we crammed everything in. But we could do a second tour on the places we don't go to again, or we don't go to, but we've been before. Newcastle, fantastic GUKPT in the first 4 or 5 years, and then just seems to stop. Brighton doesn't have a card room like it used to before, so that we can't do that anymore.
just quads for Gabriel.
Yeah, we're just looking there. There were no action with the quads, so. But yeah, like the lights of Brighton, absolutely fantastic. You see the videos of me stood on the pier at Brighton Pier and stuff like that in the background. Brighton, Portsmouth. We're now going back to Reading. We're now going back to Coventry. They're 2 additions for this year. We don't do Walsall. We don't do Bolton. We don't do Newcastle. There's so many Thanet. There's so many places. Unfortunately, we could have a second tour on places where we used to go to, but we don't do anymore. And they've realised that the numbers are really good where they're going. So why would they change them? Luckily, we added Coventry on last year because the numbers in Coventry when we didn't go to Edinburgh was amazing, which is why Coventry's been added again this year. And Reading has come back because is it a south thing? I'm not sure, but Reading's an hour from London. It's 20 minutes from Luton. You've got the people around there. Well,
20 minutes from Luton.
I've got a Ferrari. All right.
Okay.
I've got a Ferrari.
Have you got a helicopter as well?
But yeah, it's just I don't know. Yes, I'd love it. If Cardiff is on, count me in.
Who won the high roller yesterday? Asked Man of Straw. It was TJ Jr. Terry Jordan Jr. TJ's boy ended up scooping it.
He did indeed. Thanet is a weird location because there's no such place as Thanet. Work that one out. Tea time.
Yeah, Gas says you need a GUKPT in Bristol for the whole of the West Country and South Wales. Massive catchment area. Players come from far.
Grosvenor as an estate and the rank organisation tried to buy Harbourside when it was a gala, and it would have been the best casino to buy in the chain, and they refused to sell it. And it would have been, and you've probably never been to it. You probably I don't even know what it is now. Is it still a casino anymore? It's 10 years since I've been down to Bristol to do an event, but we did work there. And Grosvenor and rank organisation tried to buy the Harbourside casino, and they wouldn't sell it because Bristol would have been amazing because it was a fantastic casino. It was literally on the harbour side, shops around, all your gastro pubs next to a little lake and what have you, and water. It was stunning. Unfortunately, they never got to buy the building because they refused to sell it, which is a shame because it would have been a leg every single year with Bristol.
And he won it for 69k after a three-way deal, Man of Straw. It was a three-way chop between Cully Sidhu, Chris De Silva and Terry Jordan Jr. And they took 59,000 each. They left 10k to play for, and he ended up scooping it. Took the trophy. All full results are on social media. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Grosvenor Poker. Live stream coverage as always, YouTube and Twitch /GUKPT. How are we doing, Sid? Good afternoon, troops. Great to have you back with live poker. It's good to be back. Already had a couple of days of coverage. We had the cash game on Wednesday. We had the high roller yesterday. This is our first day for the main event covering it. These are the chip counts from yesterday, if you missed it. Rene Zees bagging up the chip lead. Some notables in there. Jack Harcastle, Riggy, Kenny Hallart, Colin Gillan, Steve Watts has bagged up, Chris Maguire, Nick Marchington in the mix, Florian Duta, Yanis Liparis with a huge stack, Matt Davenport, some really, really big names left in the field from yesterday. Yeah, she's on form. She's probably one of the most improved players I've seen over the last couple of years. I think she's really worked on her game. She seems to play very well every time she's at the featured table, and I think this year could be a year that we might see her make a few deep runs in things. And obviously this event, you could see her on the FT with her 13x starting stack backed up from day one. She also chopped the Birmingham deep stack last week as well, to mention. Renee ended up finished second in that one. Here he is.
See you boys here.
Thank you.
No problemo. Thank you very much. I can't read that.
I read an article on Poker News about KT.
Joke. Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah, and I'm talking
I
about
saw
Jack.
it.
Jack and his golf talent. Yeah, he's
Is he playing
Look
a
out for
+2 or something now? Isn't
plus something tower.
it? Amazing.
He'd have to give me 30 odd shots. 13-year-old have to give me 30 shots. A few on the outer table on the beers already. Yeah, I really like this from Lucas. This is nice from him. This is what I spoke about 20 minutes ago. Start incorporating in some lighter free bets versus Gabrielle's Open. He's been involved in lots of pots, and that's just a really nice pickup from Lucas there with ace-8 off. Just understanding it's going to play much better as a free bet versus his particular opponent as well. It's just going to get through so often because of how wide he is perceived to be opening. That shouldn't see too much action first session of the day. Same old, unless there's a cold deck put out there or we get a superstar on our table. It's all about the feeler levels, getting an understanding of what's going on, who you're playing against. These are the players you're likely to be sat with throughout the day. How are you doing, Preston Pixie? Good afternoon. Folds to Usman on the button. Happy to open the King 10. And that is Tina Bandal in seat 9, Man of Straw. As we just see Ewan McNicholas show up. He's loving it, Ewan. He was on our featured table on Wednesday, he was on our featured table yesterday, and here he is again today. Part of the furniture.
Unbelievable. Also talking to Kyle last night as well. First time I really heard him speak, and obviously he's Australian.
Yeah.
Obviously Australian. I'm thinking about going back.
This is their last event.
Is it?
Carl and Katie's last event.
Oh right.
And then they're off to Australia. Good luck to him.
Don't know where he resides, but I'm guessing if he's going to work in the industry, it's got to be Sydney or Melbourne for the Aussie Millions. I think that's mine and yours next trip.
Yeah.
Aussie Millions
Could be a good one. Yeah, I think I was speaking to Katie. I think it was last leg, the 8-8 leg. I think they're going out there, and Will Davis and Will Davis and his missus.
Oh yeah.
Lauren, Will Davis and Lauren, they've got their own club out there. Yeah, that's the one.
I was thinking of saying it.
Yeah, and I think they might be doing a bit of work over there at their club as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think they've been in touch with them.
Will Davis nicking our stuff. Afterwards, I don't know if they ever tune in. Will and Lauren.
Well, God, what's the time over now?
They've made it. They're about 11 hours in front. They're about 11 hours in front, Sydney. So.
I can't forget Lauren.
But no, it's they've done well. They've really done well for themselves when they decided to take the gamble. Lauren, fantastic dealer on the GUKPT. Will, an amazing player. Won GUKPTs in the past, but made a go of it in Australia and now running the car doing over there.
Yeah, great.
I didn't realise when we were speaking last night they were imminently off. I know he was saying they were thinking they were doing it, but. He didn't say yes, we're off next week, kind of thing. Well, good luck to him.
Yeah, lovely couple.
And Katie's become part of the fixture and fittings on the feature table.
Katie's always there in the feature. Tom Hall just walking into the building.
The game's just got tougher.
Yep.
For everybody sat at the tables.
One of the country's elite turning up with a GUKPT. Carlo here gets a nice turn card for his hand. Picking up gut shot, nut flush draw.
Going nowhere.
Yeah, Ludo's been here already this week, man of straw, so I'm assuming we're going to see him in the field at some point today.
Yeah.
He was down to watch the Old Firm in London with a few of the other Scots on Wednesday, I believe it was.
He went with Feraldo to watch the Old Firm derby in a Celtic pub, believe it or not, and obviously Ludo's a Rangers fan. Not seen him since. Not seen him since. Carlo hits it on the river. The nuts is good.
Leads for 3.3 and just a quick fold from Tina with the 9s.
Yep.
How are we doing? HMR on Twitch. Love the stream, guys. Just settled down with a cup of tea and some hot cross buns. Happy Easter. Bit early.
Very, very early. It's the 4th of February. Hot cross buns, toasted hot cross buns.
Pancake day first. That can't be far off. When's Pancake Day, Tower?
So usually in February.
Yeah.
Usually in February.
Busman in the hijack. King Queen raises to 300. And Gabriel, who has been involved so much, is in with Queen 6 in the small. After Carlo flats the 9-8 off on the button. Three-way action to the flop. And Carlo flopping best on the 8-5 deuce board. Against these two positions, wouldn't even mind seeing Usman c-bet this one with King Queen, but happy to check his option over to Carlo, who is now going to start firing with his top pair. and that should be job done. Can't see either Gabriel or Usman continuing in this spot.
A good hot crossbun, toasted, plenty of lashings of butter. Happy Easter. What are you doing at Easter? Quiet one?
When is Easter this year?
16th of April.
16th of April. I'll be in Ireland.
Will you?
Yeah, that's Irish Open, isn't it?
Whoa.
Yeah, Irish Open.
Well, fancy that.
Yeah.
Fancy it, the Irish Open, running the Irish Open over Easter.
Yeah, I'll be in
Well,
Ireland.
just like they've done it for the last 43 years.
Oh, have they?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I never knew that. I never knew that.
Yes. Easter Monday is always the final.
Ah.
In fact, they used to, on Easter Sunday, there used to be buckets and buckets of Easter eggs all over the building in the Burlington, when it used to be. You will be in the City West for Easter. Ace, King, Jack.
Carlo flopping best with the top pair. Although four-way, we're going to have to proceed with caution here with the A7 on this particular board, fairly wet. Wouldn't mind seeing a check here from Carlo if it is checked over to him, but Scott, being the original aggressor, is going to take initiative here with the Queen Jack. Fires for high 500. Should just be call from Carlo and two folds from behind. Not Gabriel and Tina are going to have anything to do in this pot.
Is it too early to talk about Cheltenham, says Luke? What's your anti-post money on? I have not seen an anti-post race for the Cheltenham. Cheltenham's usually around about St Patrick's Day, isn't it? That's the 17th of March. So I'm guessing it's about a month away, 6 weeks away. No, not seen any anti-post for Cheltenham at all. Don't even know who's running. If anybody's got any 50 to 1 certainties, can you let us know? I mean, it's usually around St Patrick's Day. They always have Paddy's Day, don't they, at the Cheltenham races.
Scott King Queen should be opening this one tower, +1.
10-5-4, whiffs them both.
Scott continuing. One takes it down.
Five to 1 treble, Honeysuckle, Shishkin and Aloha. Aloha, sorry. There you go. Anyone watch Trigger Point on ITV? Not me.
Tipping Point.
No, no. Trigger Point's that new.
Oh, is it?
It's about the bomb squad, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, a mini series on ITV. It's about a bomb squad or something, or the MI5 or whatever it is. Yeah, Tipping Point's good. It's a rider. Constitution Hill in the Supreme Novice. See, the tips are coming out. We better write these down, Jay. We better write them down.
Oh, it was unbelievable start to Cheltenham last year. I think it was like a 33-1 winner and like a 20-1 winner in the first two.
You did?
Yeah, Cheltenham last year.
I'd have quit. I would have quit and not done
And
anything
then I didn't
else.
have nothing for the rest of the week. I had like unbelievable start.
I wouldn't have had a bet. Wow.
And the worst thing is as well, them two were two in my lucky 15 as well. So I had them two going on to the next two in my lucky 15, yeah.
Wow.
I was sitting in my mate Joe's shop, I remember watching the horses all jumping up and down. Like but I've noted it down. Thanks for the tips.
I don't very often do anti-post, I must admit. I know you get better prices, but obviously if it doesn't run you don't get your money back. What kind of tip's that? Constitutional Hull, his favourite?
Well, you said the treble, it's a 5-1 treble.
No. Here's a tip for you. Constitutional Hull, the Supreme. 2-1 favourite. A lot of the firms already do non-runner, no bet. I like that. Nice one, Luke. If you can find them kind of little tips, it's always better.
Yeah, I want for you, Tower. What got you into becoming a poker commentator?
By heck.
These are good questions early on why there's no action.
Just transition from being, well, when I first moved over to Blackpool in 2004, 2005, I just started playing poker, and that was when all the poker forums became into fruition. Your Blondes, your Airwops who I worked with, there was Bad Beat, there was all kind of different forums. That was before Facebook, before Twitter and all your social medias. And I started, there were a Blackpool couple of lads that got a World of Poker together, the forum, and it got bigger, just like Blonde did, just like other poker forums. And then Alistair, who owned it, decided to start doing videos and wanted to do videos at the GUKPTs, which is how I got involved in the GUKPT. I was asked because I was DJing at the time, and I was a bit loud and I was a bit giddy and fun and all that, and he said, would you like to go and trial out for a poker programme? So we went to Birmingham and did 10 programmes for Sky TV in 2006 and did a number of programmes for that. I did a little bit called the Internet Corner, which somebody played online and played against a professional in the studio, and I commentated on that a little bit. And then as we did the videos for the GUKPT after the TV side of the GUKPT stopped, we started doing the videos. Then we started doing the live stream. We're the first people to do the live stream, obviously with no cards, no hole cards at the time. And then started doing a bit of commentary in that. And then he got Andy Booth came along with Cardroom Direct and completely changed the way poker was screened in Britain. As you can see, the graphics that we've got now are way beyond what we had in 2012, 2013, 2014 when we first started. We're doing the comms, and then realised that the analysis side of it was a lot more intense and got totally changed. You can speak different languages when you speak to the kids along, and that's why we look for somebody like you to come along, and you change the way I look at the game, you change the way everybody watches the game. They listen to you, they don't listen to me. But we used to do the videos around the tables and used to wander around and do the videos and have a chat with all the players and stuff like that, and that's how we got into it. But to what it is now to what it was then is just completely different. And now it's like a 4, 5, 6 man team, and where it used to be 2.
Yeah.
literally a camera around the table, holding it with a microphone in your hand, and then PK with the camera and talking to somebody, and different things like that. So just a transition. But having this lad at side of me has just been the best thing for me, because as a lot of people know, I am no analyst. I am the front man, and this guy talks the best sense you could wish for when we're doing the commentary between us. And it's just a transition from when it first started, when we used to walk around and just do videos and do stuff like that.
I remember actually a couple of legs you coming over before I started Tower, playing the GUKPT one year. You coming over with your camera and your microphone, talking to me, and the next year I was sat next to you. It was like so surreal.
And that's the way it goes. We used to do the Irish Open exactly the same. Went over to do the Irish Open, do the videos, and then obviously the live stream started. Don't forget, 4 or 5 years ago, the World Series never did a live stream.
Yeah.
They only ever did a TV program.
Yeah.
They had the November 9. They stopped it and did the November 9, where they had the TV program between July and November, built it up, had a TV program in November. Yeah. There were no live stream.
Yeah, there wasn't.
They didn't do a live stream.
They commentated over the coverage that had already been filmed.
Yeah, they didn't have a live stream. And then they realised that people want, with social media these days, you realise that people want to know what's happened and who's won it instantly. Everybody wants to know who's just won the World Series, but we'll let you know in November. You know what I mean? So
who turned down the analyst job, so they ended up with Jay?
Jay was the first person we asked, and literally blew us away straight away. And his personality and his knowledge literally got him side of us, and it's just got better and better and better. And I think everybody will say exactly the same.
Yeah, it's over the years since I started as well. I remember sitting there the first leg, like nervous, sitting there shaking in the chair. Like.
But it's exactly the same. Everything in life's practice.
Yeah, exactly.
You start on a new job on your first day, and you hate it, and you go home and you think, oh, I might not go back.
Yeah.
And then 2 years down the line, you're like part of the team. You're getting involved. You know, it's brilliant, and it is. Yeah, Nuts TV, when we used to do the videos and wander around and all that. Things change, things evolved. You think 5 years ago there were no live streaming of the World Series main event, and that was playing for $5, $6, $8, $7 million. And they just had to change it, and they had to realise that people wanted to watch it there and then, which is why they changed from November back to July. Why you don't have the break anymore, because live stream took over. To be fair, even Patrick Antonius can't take his job. Well, he came in for an interview and we fobbed him off.
Yeah.
And I think now with what Andy's done with Card Room Direct and the pictures and the graphics, and as you see in the background, all the new backgrounds are on there, the new boards behind showing Grosvenor Poker and things like that. Just brilliant. The pictures, the quality, and even this week, the brand new graphics that we keep messing about with and having a laugh and joke with. I've got buttons to press and stuff like that. That's all new. It's all brand new, and it just evolves, and it just turns into bigger and better things. And I still, and Andy's not here, whether he's watching or not, I'll still say exactly the same. I'll say exactly the same to the people at the bar. I still don't understand why Andy Booth and the live streaming has never got recognition for doing what it does, because he started it.
Yeah.
The live streaming tables, he made them, he sent it out there to be a production, a product for poker to make the live game better. And I never understand why in the industry where you have the Global Poker Awards and you have this awards and that awards, and there's no recognition out there, because I think he completely changed the face of the especially British poker. Because now everybody wants a live stream.
Yeah, no odds on day one, unfortunately, man. A straw that would be ridiculous to price up. But,
we don't even know who's playing.
He says if there was, he'd be back in Maurizio. Yeah, Maurizio's just deep in everything at the moment. He's on a real bit of form, and
don't slash.
Wouldn't be surprised if we saw him make another deep run this weekend. And yeah, I will be going to the Irish Open.
Yes, he's already booked.
Yeah, all booked up.
He is already booked, let me tell you.
Tower's hopefully going to join me. I hope he does.
Yeah, I'm hoping for 4 or 5 days over in Dublin. I really am. I just we'll see what happens, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But there will be a book for day 3 and the final day on Grosvenor Sports. We'll be giving you those odds on Sunday morning, and you'll have to put the bet on before we do start the live stream. I remember Neil Channing going to the Irish Open about 10 years ago when he won it. There was a promotion on Paddy Power where if you played the Irish Open, they give you a free €50 bet, and he backed himself at 200 to 1 to win it, and he won it.
It's an extra 10 bag on top of whatever he got.
Asifo, good afternoon from sunny Zagreb. Very nice, Asifo. Looked wonderful. Hope you're having a great time out there. Cold and fresh, but sunny.
I've got some news as well. Simon, who's now part of the team, we're going to get that avatar changed.
No way.
Yep.
I'll keep it.
No.
Get it kept.
No, it's going.
I'm just going to buy you a hat.
This one, look, it's going. Where is it? There we go. Look, down there, it's going.
I'm just going to buy you a hat. If you're buying you a hat, you'll just look like that. Get you the hat with them glasses that come with it. Put it on and that'll be you.
Yeah, Leon Campbell comes to the table.
All good. Apocalypse.
All good here.
We are.
Third day of streaming, first day of the main event for us, day 1B.
How has Chef Brad done a school run at 1:45? 1:45? What's he done? Took them lunch?
I don't know.
He's been stood outside the gates selling, hasn't he? He's been selling cakes at the gates. That's what he's been doing. I see him sat you where he can't headbutt the camera. See, no, it's just a complete random draw, obviously, from the first. The first table is a complete random. Then we have a choice and try and pick a table that's close by for the remainder of the tournament. But yeah, yesterday he stood up and decided to butt the camera that's above the screen that you can see.
Yeah, so you're incorporating a free bet in with this ace-5 suited. Cam flat as well. All about having a mixture though. I like it. I know we've run into kings, but in the short term, going to get in trouble here, but over the long run, I like this from Ewan. But all about mixing it up and having a mixture of flats and free bets, making it really difficult for your opponent to play against you, and just snap folds to the 4-bet versus Tina.
The kids finish at 1:30 on a Friday.
What?
Why?
I used to finish at 3:15 every day.
3:15?
Yeah.
We used to finish at 4, and I used to have to run home to watch Danger Mouse, because that was on at 20 past.
Mine was
I had 20 minutes to get home.
Jungle Run.
Jungle Run, what?
Jungle Run.
I never heard of it.
Jungle Run was the show, Tower. As a kid, that was the show.
Half a day on a Friday.
You must know Jungle Run, PK. PK knows Jungle Run.
If the kids have half a day on a Friday, why do you still get fined for taking kids out of school to go on holiday? Half a day? Don't understand that. Yeah, we had 20 minutes to run home. We finished at 4. And of course, back in the day, nobody got drove to school.
Yeah.
Nobody. We had to run home and get to watch Danger Mouse. 20 past 4. Finish at 1, says Sid Stoke. Or is it Sid for Toke or Sid Stoke? Sid for Toke. 1 PM. How bizarre.
I used to start at 8:30. Used to be in school for about 8. Start at 8:30, come home at 3:15. None of that half day malarkey.
No. Did you make it through yesterday, Ricky?
Yeah.
How many? 50,000. 40 bigs. Not many. Paul Rigg had a great year last year. Got himself a package. Danger Mouse is on Netflix. Is it? No way. Oh my days. Danger Mouse is on Netflix. I know what I'll be doing tonight when I get in. Cup of tea, bit of Netflix.
Bit of Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse. Early stages, day 1B. Keep you updated with all the information regarding the numbers. Don't forget, just flights B and C in the poker room tonight, plus cash. And cash has a £205,000 national bad beat jackpot in play. $181 have sat down so far. We haven't played 2 levels and there's 181 in the building.
I reckon we're going to surpass 600 entries, Tower.
Well, it's currently standing at 369.
Yeah, my lines, I'm going to go with 611. Actually, I'm going to go with the Rey Mysterio.
911.
619.
619. 911's a television programme.
And a Sean Kingston song.
And the police, and the police number in America.
That's my line, 619.
619, the Rey Mysterio. He was good when he first started.
Yeah.
He was awesome, Rey Mysterio. He just carried on for too long, like they always do.
Yeah.
Is that Carlo Zitrone? Yes, it is indeed. We don't know whose his arms are, but it looks like Johnny Bravo sat in seat 6. But it is Carlo Zitrone. What is the biggest ever field for a GUKPT? Well, the biggest prize pool was 1.1 million.
Yeah, that was grand final.
That was the grand final. But the actual number of runners, it might be the 591 from last year, from this event. That could be the biggest main event. 591 last year. Don't think Coventry had more than that, did it?
No, I don't think so.
The boots for Leon in the big blind. Gabriel 2.4 to call. Don't think 2.2 to call. I don't think he's calling. I know he's been active. 60% VPN. No, VPIP, sorry.
Biggest ever GUKPT was last year. 607 entries in Coventry.
607.
Yep.
Wow.
Beat the 591 that we had here at the Vic.
607. I know Coventry was close. I remember it being ridiculously close. 607.
That could be beaten. So I reckon
And that was
that's
a
gonna,
750, wasn't it? Last year?
yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, 750 tops.
Wowzers. 607.
607.
Amazing.
And I think that's going to get beaten this weekend, so I really do. And that's going to be in a 1K as well. It was a smaller buy-in back in Coventry last year.
You're going for the Rey Mysterio, are you? Let's see how we go on then. Is the Goliath available to book into yet? Is he? How can he book into it if we don't know when the dates are? What, the sign events?
The dates are out, the schedule's just not out, is it?
Oh, the main event's there, is it? Is it in the app? Well, I never knew that. Who never told me that? The answer is yes, Declan.
4 people bought in so far.
Brilliant.
Guarantee on it?
No, there's no guarantee. No need to have a guarantee. What guarantee would you put on? What's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you give yourself headache?
100k guarantee.
You know the first time they put a $250,000 guarantee on, they were cacking themselves because it would have been the biggest field in Britain, and they were cacking themselves, and they hit it, and they've never overlaid, obviously. But you just don't. Absolutely no need for no need. If you're going to play a Goliath just because there's a guarantee, you shouldn't be playing. There's no point. So the answer is yes. Is it available to book into yet? Declan, you can. It's on the app. If you've got the Poker Live app, then you can check it. If you haven't got it, you need it because it's basically the best app for anything regarding Grosvenor Poker in any club in Britain. But you can buy into day one. In fact, PK has just said there's 4 people bought in. Wonder what day they're playing. I reckon they're going to be playing the last day, which would be the Friday. And oh my days. So there's a day 1A, B, C, D, E, F. There's a G and a H this year. It's a good job there's only 26 letters in the alphabet.
F, G, H. It's 10 days this year, not 9 for
G
us.
and a H. No, because G and a H are both on Friday. There's 2 turbo legs on the Friday. 4 entries into the turbo on the Friday already. The last buying day on Goliath is Friday the 2nd of September. And there are 2 turbo flights. There's a G and an H. Flipping heck. So flight 1 of the turbo on the Friday starts at 12. Does that mean we start at 12 every day? Yes. We're not starting at 11. Oh, feels like a win already.
I think day 2 starts at 11.
Oh, don't say that.
Day 2 and 3 start at 11.
Right. The day 1 starts at 12. And the Friday flights is buying day 1H, starting, oh my days, G and H. G starts at 12. It's the turbo leg. It's a 30-minute flight. You get 25,000 chips as normal. And then H starts at 7 p.m. 30-minute levels. Well, there you go. It is on the app. And yes, you can buy in. Is it basically any club? Buy in at any Grosvenor casino. Wowzers, there you go. Amazing. Halfway through level number 2 of the day.
Queen Jack for Scott raises to 300. And Leon going to be 3-betting this one tower, at least he should be. Oh yeah, Mick the mod.
Afternoon, Mick.
Offsuit Queen Jack, just not going to fare too well out of position versus the 3-bet range of Leon, so Scott should be getting out of the way tower. How many bullets do you think Jam Nicks will have this year? That's a good question.
10.
Well, 1 bullet per 1 main event per leg.
10. He might have the under and over split.
I'll have the overs spread on that, please.
You can't have 20 bullets, can you?
Over the year you can. How many events are there over the year, Tower? We've got, what, 10 legs?
Oh, I thought we were just talking about Goliath.
Oh, okay, yeah, it is good. Oh, Goliath. Makes sense.
I thought we were just talking about Goliath.
Yeah, he had loads 1 year, didn't he, the Goliath Jam Nicks?
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Gabriel opening A7, raises to 300.
Remember 1 year Joe Beavers played 70 levels of poker.
Yeah, I did make that
and
too.
never made day 2.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that year.
Played 70 levels of the Goliath and never made day 2. Oh, brilliant.
That was the year of the Juta that year, I think. That was the year
The
Florian
Florian.
won it, yeah?
Yeah. We're just looking over from yesterday, just quickly run back to these are the chit counts from last night if you didn't see them earlier on. Afternoon, Brian. How are you? Still looking well. Are you still playing well? Always plays a bit of cash to that, Brian. Watches the live stream whenever he can.
The GUKPT stream, you've got 2 streams. You've got a stream on GUKPT.
There's one on Twitch. No, Twitch or YouTube is a lot better.
Twitch or YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube is crystal clear.
What's these?
Just YouTube /GUKPT. And it comes up, and it's the big flashing live. And you click on it, and we're in glorious colour. 261 for Rene, Antoine South 250. Riemann Kassam 166. Matt Davenport got chunks as well. 148. They were all the stacks from last night. Nearly got a full ring. Now we're on the second level of the day, which is good for us. Good to see Leon Campbell back at the table in seat number 8. Do we think Grosvenor will host a big money live cash game nightly, similar to what Hustler do in America? No. They don't live stream unless it's a GUKPT. There are live cash games, but not streamed. But you can come down here and play a 25-50 Omaha every single night. Was that 20-minute break? Was it 20 minutes? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they have big cash games down here every single night. There's a 25-50 at PLO every night, but not live streamed, unfortunately.
If there was a 25-50 PLO and we kept the feature table at the Vic and there was a game that played every night and we could potentially stream it, I'd happily do the comms by myself. Honestly, I'd happily do the JJ does it for Live at the Bike, like he sits there every night and does the comms by himself. I think I'd happily do the comms by myself for a game like that and just sit there and until the early hours. It would be great, but it's just obviously the team that we've got is fairly small and
absolutely.
Still probably a lot more manpower to get one going every single day. So 3-bet pot here, 2 legitimate hands as well. Ace Queen of Scott flopping best after cold calling the 3-bet from Reg. And don't need to continue big here, as Raj want to go fairly small on this board, like something like 700 is fine. 1.2, still south of half, and Scott here just got a pure call with the Ace Queen. Nothing else we should be doing. Folding, not an option, raising, it shouldn't really be in there, it should just be a call coming in from Scott. 3 of diamonds on the turn, and this is a turn you just expect to go check with these 2 particular holdings fairly often here. Scott just going to be playing in float, checking it over to the 3-better, who still will have the jacks, the ace king in his range. Raj, after getting called on the flop now, is just checking this back and trying to get to showdown, just to hope that we're up against a hand like King Queen, King 10 suited, Queen 10 suited, something like that. But Scott now probably going to lead this spot tower, not too large, but maybe try and get called by King's Queen, some Jack X, some worse Ace X potentially. Don't want to see too large a size in here from Scott. 3.5k, that's perfectly fine. 60-65%. Raj now just can't call with the 10s. We got a very bad hand to call with. We don't have a diamond in our hand. We have 2 cards that block the bluffs, the King 10, the Queen 10. So it's just a fairly standard fold for us here as Raj, and Scott taking that one with the Ace Queen. Alright then, Sambo. Afternoon, boys. Hope all is well. Got a horse in the field today. Robert Malversey, more affectionately known as Bob.
Bob Malversey.
We'll have a look out for him.
Absolutely. Has that proper football come back yet? Well, I know the NFL's on later, but is it Premier League this week, or is it still in winter break that we don't need because it's 16 degrees outside and it's not cold?
I don't know, Tower.
What's that all about? Whoever decided that the Premier League needs a winter break, what's that all about? Oh, FA Cup weekend. We lost 7-6 on penalties to Queen's Park Rangers. We did not win.
So there's the chip counts. Tina and Gabrielle both started very well. Rajinder, our short stack.
Oh, Manistro says it's Man United live on telly tonight. Oh, they're playing Middlesbrough. Richie P, the VIP himself, is on. I think he's got corporate football at Old Trafford. Who's the only person that could see us from there?
You.
Who is it?
Obviously.
He's the man that headbutts the cameras for a living.
So Tina here with the ladies raising to 400 under the gun. Carlo in with the pocket fours, and Gabrielle here with ace king.
We got a bit of action.
We have Tower, and Gabrielle here probably going to squeeze this spot up.
And weirdly, Gabrielle and Tina play so many hands together, so these could be any two cards basically, well, as we can see.
Well, the thing is, once this gets back to Tina here, Gabrielle, I think she's going to have to flat in this situation. We've opened under the gun, and we've got Gabrielle free betting out the small. So if I'm Tina here, I'm going to be flatting fairly often, but she is going to.
She's 4-bet.
4-bet. It's just a really, really horrible spot for us if we do 4-bet and get 5-bet at this stage of the tournament. Because a lot of the time people aren't doing that with anything but kings or aces. Gabrielle ace king suited here, not going to go anywhere, but facing this 4-bet now, I don't think we're going to see him 5-bet because of the positions in question, and because Tina may be perceived to be more on the tighter side from his perspective. So just going to call here, or at least should be, like never fold in, and I just don't think we're going to ever 5-bet this spot versus gun once they 4-bet our small blind 3-bet. Just two really strong positions going at it. Our ranges should be really condensed right now, Tower. So if I'm Gabrielle, it's just going to be a flat for me here with the ace king and take a flop.
What, little 5-bet?
Oh, he has 5-bet.
It's 5-bet. So 11.9. We don't have 5-bet, so we just raised.
Yeah. And this is the thing, Tower. Like, Tina needs to make this decision before she 4-bets the pocket queens here, so we don't get ourselves in no man's land and just make incorrect decisions. It's just something we want to be evaluating before we put the 4-bet in. We need to make that decision there and then. So we need to come up, we need to say to ourselves, if we're going to 4-bet fold the queens, it's better for us to just flat the 3-bet rather than 4-bet fold. And that's very important. Just thinking about the times that you are 3-betting or 4-betting, you need to take into account what we are going to do if our opponent then re-pops it. I'm not sure how she's going to proceed here, Tower.
So you're flatting rather than
I'm just going to flat the queens this deep, gun versus, because when this happens, it's a disaster for us, Tower. It's just a disaster when we get 5-bet in this particular scenario, and that's why I think we should be leaning more towards flat gun versus small blind in this situation. Like, it's completely different if it's like button versus small tower. Then yes, it's probably going to 4-bet more often than not, but in this particular position scenario, two strongest positions pre going at it, I just would have much preferred to see a flat versus the small blind 3-bet from Gabrielle.
Well, I can see a fold coming, or we can see the lot going in, but I'm inclined to think no, she's going to make the call.
She's going to call and leave herself half a pot size bet effective behind Tower.
Really?
Wow. And it's come ace high, ace 8-6, 2-club board. And Gabrielle here now, Tower's just probably going to set this in. Well, the thing is, it's a great flop for us, because now we're only worried about one hand. As Gabrielle, we're worried about one combination. Ranges are so now condensed in this 5-bet situation. We only lose to one combination, and that is aces. If Tina slow played aces, that's the only hand we lose to, but we have an ace in our hand, so it's just so unlikely she's got that. So it's more likely she has ace king as well, or kings or queens in this particular scenario, and that's why Gabrielle's gone so small.
Did she flat to think, if there's no ace, I'm just jamming?
I guess that could have been the thought process, but it all comes back to the 3-bet from Gabrielle. I just think once he 3-bets at this stage of the tournament, gun versus small blind versus Tina's open as well, he's going to be weighted more towards value than having a bluff in that spot, Tower. So I just think if we're Tina, it's going to play much better flatten the queens in position, taking a flop, keeping the pot smaller when we're 200 big blinds deep, rather than 4-betting and then putting ourselves in a disaster spot when we get 5-bet. It's just unfortunate. It's a bit cold.
Yeah.
Bit of a cold deck. Like, but when you start getting into these 4-bet, 5-bet pots, Tower, ranges just become so narrow that it becomes pretty easy to navigate spots because of how narrow they are. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Gabriel's either, to be honest.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
The 5-bet as well. I just thought he was going to peel getting that price with the ace-king suited, but he did choose the 5-bet, which was really strange, because if Tina rips it in, he has to call for the price he's getting, and if Tina rips it in, she's only going to have aces when she's 6-bet rips, surely. So we're in a world of hurt with ace-king versus aces. So like from both players there, obviously Gabriel's always 3-betting, but once Tina 4-bets, just going to flat, I think, getting that price, take a flop, and then roll reversal once Gabrielle 3-bets. Same for Tina, I think she's just going to be flattened in that particular scenario, because we just get put in a world of a hurt when we are faced with that 5-bet, when these two positions are going out of it, gun versus small blind. But a nice little fun one, pre-flop. I guess there is that dynamic that Tower mentioned as well at the start of the hand. The two had been going at it the first hour and a half of the session. There have been a few pots they've been involved in. Gabriel's been the most active at the table. He has been getting involved. We've also got that factor to take into account. Tina maybe letting that hand affect her a little bit, peeling a6 off in the small blind, like a6 off facing an open. Not going to be the best hand to ever flat in this situation, but looks like she's going to chop it up anyway, because Gabrielle's not firing at any point, and this one's going to get to showdown, and they will chop it up, both of them with the a6.
Same hand. $38,000 for Gabrielle, Rajinder and Tina down the 12k mark, but plenty of big blinds, plenty of action to be involved with 12k. Don't think yourself if there's a short stack with the blinds and the structure as good as this one. So Tony Filoni walking past from Stoke.
Yeah, a bit of background noise, guys.
Yes, the bar is busy. 190 runners in so far for day 1B. Mad Turks in the building. Mehmet's watching in Cyprus, and Mad Turks just walked through the building. Oi, oi. Alan Stern, Wadey. We've got Raggy in the building. Plenty going on. Tina involved again. Gabriel involved again. But Tina flopping best this time. Tina bets 1,000 and gets the small pot and start building the stack back up again. Just under 15 minutes to go until the end of this session. There'll be an extended break. I think it's either going to be 20 or 25 minutes the first break. Looking at this, Ramverswani in. What did you say Ramad Chunks in yesterday? Was he playing the
PLO?
The PLO?
Well, yes, a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Well, they didn't win it because we saw
Mitch won it.
Mitch Nyman won it. Martin Frey in the building. Chris Maguire. Chris Maguire's can't play.
I think he's playing cash.
He made 20,000, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's playing some cash.
He's playing some cash. You're trying to get involved with the £205,000 national bad beat jackpot. But unfortunately, that don't start till 6.
Yeah, but so what a grim one that would be.
Oh my days! 6 till 6 that runs from.
Well, you could. This is what I suggested. If you're sat there on the river and you've got quads, bottom quads, and there's top quads out there, and it goes raise, re-raise, your mate and shoves. Tank for 6 hours. Why not? Have a little tank for 6 hours, and then make the call until it's past 6.
Imagine if it was R5 though.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was 5:40 or something like that, and you've just sussed it, you've worked out the hands and you've guessed and you've told each other. Imagine that. One actually went one in one club at like 5:45 or something like that. The Mad Turk was in Cyprus last week. He played at the Merrick Crystal. Nice one. Good old Turk over in Cyprus. Did they get any snow in Cyprus, Mehmet? I know it snowed in Turkey and Greece for the first time in 25 years last week. Yeah. Yeah, it snowed in Turkey for the first time in 25 years last week. Did you get any snow in Cyprus? And it was -2 yesterday. A bit of a cold snap.
No whole cards for this one, unfortunately.
No, what's happening? Just a lot of monsoon season. Just a lot of rain. Plenty of snow in Canada. It's -32. You're joking. That's fresh. It won't be that cold in Poland for you next week. -32. Oh my days. Wow. Wow, that's cold. I've been to Canada once. I went to a place called Kitchener, near Toronto, or Toronto, as they say. They don't pronounce the second T.
Why?
I don't know. Toronto. I went to Kitchener for a wedding about 10 years ago. Nice place. Mark Fizz is back in the building after being rather ill. Afternoon, Fizz. Glad you're watching the live stream and glad you're still with us. Had not the best Christmas, but I'm glad you're with us, Fizz. Good to have you on board, Fizz. Glad you're back with us, watching the live stream. I still can't believe it's minus 32 in Canada. Apparently, after it gets past minus 25, there's no difference because your body can't tell the difference.
Really?
Yeah, minus 25 is apparently the coldest your body can say how cold it is. Apparently. Minus 32, unbelievable. Yeah, it was a nice place, Kitchener, very nice. Went onto a farm for a wedding. It was awesome. There are ski resorts in Cyprus and Turkey. Now, I did not know that. So, it must snow on a regular basis. So it must be some parts of Turkey where they've had snow for the first time in 25 years then.
So in 10 minutes time, guys, we're going to head out on the first break of the day, a new featured table when we return. A few notables that are going to be joining us. Julian Sitbon and Rick Trigg are going to be coming to the featured
Gary
table.
Bush, another blast from the past. Played all the TV games back in the early 2000s. Gary Bush. Snowing in Glasgow today. What is it really? We just had the mildest January for over 20 years. And now it's snowing. Not as much as it is in Canada. Oof, minus 32. Ding dang do. It's minus 32.
Five two, 5 past
5-2.
This is the final call. There's the main event. Please take your seats now. We have 1 minute remaining on the
25-minute break.
Yeah, 25-minute break.
Please prepare your decks now.
25-minute break.
So a loose open from Tina under the gun +2, raising the Jack 5 suited. And Rajinder is in with a 7-5 of diamonds on the button, and Carlo comes along, CV Ace 9 deuce 2 heartboard. And Tina continues and just takes it down with a Jack 5.
Like it. So a 25-minute break in around about 6 minutes time. For the first break. Here's what's coming up for the rest of the week here in London. As you can see, oh, we're frozen. That's a nice look, that, isn't it? Nice look. Today is just day 1B and day 1C, 2 flights of the main event. Tomorrow we've got the high roller PLO and the £200 turbos, a side event, and then the seniors and the bounty. I hope you got your mittens on, Claire, while you're typing, or the heating.
So the way it works is for Stoke, the first table of the day is random. It goes into the seat draw. Feature table is table 20. If you get drawn onto table 20, you'll be on the featured. After that, we choose a table that isn't too far away from the featured table, because we have to change the chips, input all the chip counts in during the break for the new featured. But it is hand-picked the second, third, fourth, fifth featured table of the day. So if you do have any friends, notables that you do want to see throughout the day, sometimes if you put a request in, if they're on one of the tables that are near the featured table, we can see if we can get them on for a following session. But like, we won't be able to get a table that's like on the other side of the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've got to switch them over during the
We
break.
certainly won't be getting table 20 when there's 200 runners in and it's completely the other end, as Jay says. The new graphics are a lot better, just don't do it. Yeah, a lot of people commented on the graphics. I was speaking to Jim yesterday, this morning, Jim McShane.
Do you like them?
Head of poker. And I was saying that it's something, if I were watching the live stream, I probably wouldn't have even seen, because I'm not that observant on things. If you walk into me, if I walked into my mum's house and there was an ornament that had been moved, my sister would say, "Who's moved that?"
Yeah.
I'd be like, "No idea."
Yeah.
I'd have no idea that an ornament's been moved, and I probably wouldn't have even said anything about it. But there's loads of people commented on how good the new graphics are, and they're only going to get better because there's things and buttons that we can all press. So yes. Are there any events in Nottingham this year? Not for Grosvenor. Not for Grosvenor Casino. We've never done a GUKPT in Grosvenor Casino, Nottingham. Leon Campbell getting involved for one of the first times today. Ace 9, flops here as well. Ace 4, 6.
Yeah, Lucas can have lots of bets on this board tower. Being the opener early position, we don't know his holding, but in terms of range, this is a board we're going to be firing high frequency. And does bet for 400, and Leon just wants to be flat in here with his top pair. Deceptive factor in that. This is a board that we expect Lucas to have plenty of barrels on, so we just want to be calling, taking some turns. King of spades rolling off. Flush does complete. So part of Lucas's range will want to check on this particular card, because Leon will have lots of flush combinations defending out the big blind. He's going to defend almost any 2 suited.
9 of spades. One of the worst cards for Leon, to be fair.
It's actually not tower. On first glance it looks like a bad card, this 9 of spades, but if Lucas had a hand like Queen Jack or Jack 10 with a spade in it, he's probably going to double barrel a lot of the time on this turn, whereas like his Ace X, if he has Ace X, like an Ace Jack, Ace 10 type hand, the Ace obviously can't be a spade, so then it's only a 1 in 4 shot that his other card is a spade in his hand, if you want to look at it from that perspective. So Leon here actually going for a value bet here with the Ace 9 and really thin, but just for that reason, if you think about the hand with the Ace and the King of spades on the board, like Queen Jack, like Jack 10 with the Jack or Queen of spades, and they're probably going to double barrel this spot. So once he checks behind, like he can have some Ace X and King X, and if he has one of those hands, it's a 1 in 4 shot that his other card is a spade. So it's not, on first glance it looks like a bad card because it brings a 4-liner to a flush, but when you really think about it, it's actually not too bad a card for us as Leon.
And it wasn't, because it was an instant muck from Lucas. Could be the last hand of the session, and then a 25-minute break. So players standing up around the room. Last hand of the session.
And we're going multi-way.
6-handed to the flop. 6-way to the flop.
And Ace 8 catching bottom pair. Don't know what Carlo or Ewan's got, but that's out in front.
Any 10s about. Unless Ewan's got one. Seen it calls a 400 with a flush draw. As Leon bet out with absolutely nothing. Ewan calls as well. Maybe having any 10x. Raising under the gun, could have 10 jack, 10 queen.
This is the last hand of the session.
Here's the last hand.
Oh, we froze.
Once your hand has moved, please leave the door room and the call go to the table until you fall back. Door goes, please do leave the as quickly as you can. Once your hand has
And it's been checked down. We'll get our off picture with it back. There we are, we're back. We are back. So that's it, guys. First session done. First 2 hours. Feature table change, and we will be back in 25 minutes. 5-2 is when we're going to return. It's an extended break to give the dealers a little break as well. We will see you then.
I think that's because there's 200 players in the room for the first session.
Yeah. It's busy.
Any big numbers, anybody? We'll see you in 25.
See you in 25, guys.
See you then.
Kings, when the guy in the big blind's not even there, and Johnny Lawton raises, and I'm like, wow, this is going to look bullshit from me, especially like with our history. So he's raised, I've re-raised, he's re-raised. I'm just like, you know, so happy. Not even a thought in the world that I could ever be beat. We end up getting in, he just had aces, and my heart sunk. And I actually had him covered by about 20 big blinds. So I still had, you know, still hopefully I can cash, and you know, maybe I can run it back up. But like, obviously I'm a bit demoralized and a bit shook up. And I played this hand where this guy 3x'd it under the gun, this Scandinavian guy, but everyone 3x back then. And I pocket nines, and he'd been in enough hands, and I decided, I'm not going to fold the cash. I'm going to go for it here, and I'll just go all in. But in my head, I was like, okay, I'm just going to re-raise half my stack because it will look stronger than going all in. I don't know. Weird theory back then. And I've misclicked. So I've re-raised him, and he's like, how much more? And like, you know, he's made 10K, and they're like 6K more. So it's like, oh my God, just kind of trying to keep a straight face. And he like tanks for a bit, and then he calls. I'm like, okay, just come a low flop. Just comes ace, king, queen. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. But like, obviously, you know, I got to still try and win it a bit. So I fired out a bet, and he tanked for ages, and someone called the clock on him. I'm like, okay, he's going to fold. And I'm trying to like project that I've got trip aces here to him, you know, like stay away. And then anyway, after like max time bank, he shoves all in. So then I have to fold that, and I'm down to 10 big blinds, find a pair, shove, get called by ace king, lose the flip, and I'm out one off the money. And you know, trying to avoid the cameras or trying to do an interview, make out the back exit out the empire, managed to avoid that. But yeah, I was kind of gutted, you know. I almost wanted to burst into tears. It was like one of the lowest moments in poker at that time. I think that was 2007. I think it's the one, John Joanda one. So like, yeah, you know, this was, or maybe it's 2008, but I'd never had a live cash over 10K.
And that won in 2007.
Okay, yeah, so it's 2008. So literally, like you said, my first cash was 2008, and so now this would have been like my third cash. I could have won the tournament for over, you know, like 1.5 million or whatever it was for first. I don't even know, but yeah, I ended up playing for 4 days and got nothing. And then there was EPT London the next week. I was so over it, I wasn't even going to play though, so I didn't plan on playing that. And I've actually woke up on the day, and I've woke up at 9 a.m., which I never did because, you know, I was always playing online all through the night. I woke up randomly at 9 a.m., took it as a sign to go and play that tournament because I was like, I'm never normally up at this time. So I went and got on the waiting list, played the tournament, bubbled that one as well. And that was when I actually, me and All In Stevie and Paul Fulton, we all went to, I told them, all right, I don't want to play online poker for a while, no poker. So we went to Ayia Napa and had like a 3-week holiday there. Didn't even take my laptop. And that's like basically the longest break I ever took from poker. But yeah, I was on life tilt after those 2 tournaments. So especially the first one, it was the worst. So I always thought like I had unfinished business in the Europe main event. Like the actual WSOP main event just seems so unattainable because you have to beat thousands of players. Whereas this one, you know, the field size is a lot smaller, like 500 normally. But you know, it's a much tougher tournament. But I felt like this one was more winnable and a great structure. And I just was like, every year I was pumped for the tournament. So yeah, it was to make a run at it was really cool.
2.3 million live in 2011, and you were still number one online.
Yeah,
how do we even juggle these two to stay ahead of the game while you were number one online? Because that was just a fantastic year for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't do a lot other than play poker. Like, actually, it was the start of 2012 that I realized that, you know, I needed a bit more life balance, and I sort of New Year's resolutions. I hit up Jason Kuhn in Facebook chat, and I'd sort of just been eating really bad, putting on a ton of weight, like just through poker, and I was feeling bad about myself. Like, even though I was doing amazing at poker online and live, feeling really good about that, I just wasn't feeling great about life outside of poker. So that's, I think, like why I kind of almost dived into poker even more, because that was the only thing that was giving me happiness. So I kind of, start of the year, you know, everyone gets New Year's resolutions. I was like, okay, I need to make some changes here. So I kind of, on a whim, hit him up and said, oh, I was living in Cyprus with some of my horses after Black Friday at that point. And I was like, well, do you fancy coming to Cyprus, and I'll back you for some EPTs and stuff. And if you'll sort of be my personal trainer and chef, it's like kind of like a trade-off, because I knew he was like the healthiest guy in poker. And so I kind of just, at the time in my head, I did it to like make myself, you know, at least I'm trying. I didn't think he'd jump at the idea or anything. I just thought, yeah, at least I can tell myself that I'm trying to make a change. And then he like was like straight away, he was like, okay, I booked the flight. I'm then in 3 days time. I was like, oh shit. And then, at the deep end, I went from like not going to the gym for sort of 10 years to going like pretty much every day, and not, you know, he was cooking clean food. And yeah, I mean, I had like 2012, I think in the first 6 months, I ended up losing like 50 pounds or something. So it was a big change, and something that I really needed, because it was getting, just seemed, it was one of those things that I had let it slip so much that it seemed like it was unattainable, and I was never going to do it myself. So I needed to kick up the backside kind of thing. So yeah.
Awesome. We've got 30 online Triple Crowns. Now,
yeah,
for people out there that don't know what an online Triple Crown is, just tell them how good you actually are. What is the Triple Crown?
It's pretty easy, really. You just have to win three tournaments with a 10K prize pool, and you have to have over 100 people in them. Yeah. But in a week, but they have to be all on different sites as well. So that's the harder part. Is, you know, if you're playing every day, you play a lot of tournaments, so you can win 3 tournaments in a week. Not too, you know, it's not too out of the ordinary, but winning 3 on different sites, you know, a lot of time you get the first 2, like PokerStars, you know, pretty easy one to get because you're playing a lot of volume on there, and then you get the first 2, and then it would be really hard to win the third one because you'd only have a couple of options to win the third one. But yeah, once I was kind of, that always inspired me to, because, you know, like week to week, the grind can become a bit monotonous. But, you know, say I won 2 tournaments on 2 different sites on the Monday and the Tuesday, I'm like, okay, now I've got 5 days to win. So I was like, okay, I've got to be in every day, otherwise I can't win it. So I like got hooked on winning them. And, you know, you don't get any, there's no real other incentive for it, but it was definitely like something I strive to do. And like, I wanted to be the leader. And once I got in the lead, I didn't want anyone catching me. So I kept grinding them hard. But yeah, I always wanted the live one, but it's eluded me so far. I'm two-thirds of the legs through. But yeah, 30 online is not too bad.
We'll get there. 2007 your first online Triple Crown, and 2019 your last. That's incredible consistency over the years. Do you think 30 will ever be matched?
It's like weird, because it's like, it's much harder these days, because you know, like, people don't put their screen names out there on some of the sites. And back then there was more sites you could play on. You could play on PokerStars France, Winamax. I mean, now I think you have to have like a European bank account and stuff to play on Winamax. So there was a lot more options. Now now I live in the US, I only really get to play PokerStars and that when I'm in the UK, or like travel for a series to Canada. So yeah, now it's pretty much impossible for me to do it. And other people, like, it's not as easy with less sites. So who knows? I mean, you know, So that's good. I know. Yeah, I'm sure someone will beat it one day, but you know, it's fine.
Well, I was gonna say, do you think you'll ever get it back, or all the grinding days, the long nights, the long days, have they just gone now? Is it the last time you were number one was 2014?
Yeah.
So and you've just more or less said that grinding nowadays like that is just a thing in the past. Is that number one slot gone forever?
Yeah, I'm sad to say it, but yeah, I don't think I'll ever put in the volume to get it back. Like, I'd have to, you know, like what I'd have to do is like, you know, win one of the huge tournaments where it's like 2 or 3 million for first kind of thing that they have once a year, and then, you know, and then still have the sort of heart to want to get it after that, because you obviously you get a lot of points for that. So you could, you know, if you put the volume in for a couple of months after that, you could theoretically do it. But then, you know, if you just won 2 million, are you really gonna want to play poker every day? But like in my head, if I did that, maybe I would try and get it back then. But yeah, I don't, realistically, been there, done that. But yeah.
Being the best in the world is never something bad to be said about anybody, and you've done it on more than one occasion. So it's always in the bank. It's always there. But one of the reasons why you lost the number one spot is because you went on and won a WPT. Just the LA Poker Classic, 534 runners and just over 1 million. Is it a big relief having a WPT?
Huh?
Was it a big relief at the time, getting yourself that WPT?
I mean, it was just a big relief finally winning heads up, to be honest. I was like, oh, you know, Dempsey was always giving me shit for losing heads up. So I was like, if I lose this one, he's going to have a field day. So yeah, it was just nice. And also at the time, I'd actually been on pretty much my biggest ever downswing. I had to get the backing of horses has gone really bad. I'd had to get rid of everyone. I'd actually sort of, even though I'd won all those tournaments before, I'd not been smart with the money, and I had to pretty much start all over again. I was down playing low stakes, $10 rebuys, like the lot online. I still enjoyed doing that anyway, but now I actually needed to like build my bankroll back. So I hadn't really been playing any live poker for sort of a year. I'd just been taking a break and playing online, trying to build back to bread and butter, build sort of my roll back. And I've been in quite a negative place as well. You know, I've been that guy who'd sort of been seeing other people winning and moaning about it and saying, oh, I'm better than them. Why that, you know, just like the guy you don't want to be, really. And I started working with well, not through choice. Like my wife basically had enough of me being like negative. So she'd sort of put me in contact with this mind coach guy, Stephen Simpson. And he'd worked with a couple of people that I knew, like Liv Barry and a few other people. So I gave him a shot. He actually flew to Vancouver. I was playing online in Vancouver at that time. And he flew to Vancouver on a whim, didn't offer him anything at the time. He just said he wanted to have a meeting. He'd obviously read up about me and knew that, you know, I had good potential as a client and stuff. And I met up with him. I came in pretty like, I just meet the guy, but like, I'm not going to work with him. But I actually got a lot out of it and met with him a few times and went on a good online heater, enough that I was comfortable sort of buying into this 10K event and just selling a bit of action to a friend. And yeah, played the live tournament and just ended up winning it. It was surreal. It was crazy. Like, it still feels not real to me now because I've been in such a sort of bad place, not doing well, and in the space of a couple of months of talking to this guy, it sort of flipped my mindset completely. And I still work with him to this day, you know, like five plus years later, just check in with him once a month or whatever, and really recommend it. Like, but it's so, at the time I was completely against it. I was like, I can sort out my own problems, but really, you know, two heads is better than one, especially someone who knows what they're doing, you know. So yeah, like I came into the final table. The final table was one of those ones. The final table didn't even go to plan. I was chip leader with 4 left, and then I basically threw away a lot of my chips with some dodgy hands. Misread my hand on the final table, one hand where I thought I had a straight. I think the board was like 4, 5, 6, 7 queen. So pretty scary board. And I thought my opponent just had like a queen, so he wouldn't call that big of a bet. And I had jack 3 of hearts in my eye. So I missed the flush draw on the flop, but I backdoored into like the low end of the straight.
Yeah.
So I was in my head, I was like, okay, I don't think the guy's going to call more than like 50% pot here. So I bet 50% of pot on the river, and he's tanked for a couple of minutes and called. I'm like, okay, good, got max value. And I go flip over my hand to show the winning hand, and I actually had jack 2 of hearts. So I didn't have the straight at all. And so like obviously, and in my head, you know, if I had known I didn't have the straight, I would have, against this guy, I would have bet a bit bigger because I didn't think he would call a bigger bet. So yeah, I gone from that. So you know, that's the swing of being chip leader to being last place. Like you know, the stacks were that close, and somehow I ended up coming back and won a freeway all in with 3 left, which was just probably my most memorable hand of poker ever. To like get heads up, and then after doing that, I was like, I have to win heads up after, you know, being 1 card away from being eliminated, and now this time I have to win, and I did. So it was amazing sort of feeling.
And then 2017, we get the bracelet. We get the bracelet, the 3K6 max.
Finally, yeah.
Just short of 1,000 entries, and it's really weird because the video's been online in the last few days. Can you remember that rail? What's it like having a British rail, man?
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, especially because like the last few years, like, you know, the World Series hadn't been that many final tables for the British people, and so yeah, it was nice to sort of. I was telling everyone, I just want to get a final table so we can have some positive sort of morale and have a British rail and, you know, layer up a few spots. And yeah, and the final table was like one of those dreams that, you know, normally you wake up from and it's like, you know, you realize it was a dream, but like I just ran so hot on the final table. Against the other big stat, the other best player at the table, I had top set in a 3-bet pot against him, and he had top 2 pair, you know, for all the chips. So that basically allowed me to sort of bully the rest of the table. I get heads up with this Brazilian player, good online player, and then he makes a comeback, stalemate. We're playing heads up for like 3.5 hours or something crazy, you know. And I was just like, oh my god, am I ever gonna, you know, win one of these things? And yeah, to finally get over the line was, yeah, it was really, really cool, and just have all your friends there cheering for you. It didn't finish till like 4 in the morning. It was late finish, but we still went out afterwards. Yeah.
When you stood on the back rail and everybody's behind you and you're all looking up at the screen and you're waiting for the final card to come, and then they just mobbed you. Just fabulous.
Yeah, I think I got in trouble for breaking the TV or something. Someone pushed me into it.
So we got 203 on the Triple Crown. The EPT has eluded you. Are we going to chase it? Will we when we come back to the live poker and the EPT comes back? And is it something you want to get the live Triple Crown, or is it just happens if I happen to be there?
Probably just happens if it happens, because like the thing is, I only really play. There's not even many like. That's definitely the hardest one of the 3 to win. You know, if you just need a WPT or a World Series bracelet, there's so many events you can play, and even the WPTs, a lot of them are re-entry. You know, so you can buy yourself a stack and stuff like that. But you know, the EPTs are freeze out or 1 re-entry, some of them now. But there's only 4 or 5 of them a year, I think, and most of them I don't go to. Like the only ones I really ever go to, I always go to Barcelona. And that's about it, really. Like I used to go to the Caribbean one, and so yeah, no, realistically it's going to be tough. But you know, obviously, the funny thing was I actually had 29 Triple Crowns, and I wanted the 30th one to be the live one, and
that would have been nice.
That year I was doing good. I was like chip leader on day 1 in EPT Barcelona. Obviously, so far to go, but I was in the money, and I was actually feeling, oh my god, this could be it. Like even though there's still 100 and something players left at this point, I was like, you never know, this would be really cool just to finish it off in that. But unfortunately it didn't work out. But yeah, I had a few deep chances in EPTs. I think I final tabled EPT London. My mum came up to watch, and she gave me the needle because she came, well, you know, it's not even that far a journey. She lives in Essex, so it's like an hour on the train to come up to rail. And you know, I came in only with 20 big blinds, so I reshoved 7s or something and got called by ace queen and lost the flip, and I'd like get away from the table, and she's like, you done? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I come all this way for that. I was like, yeah. So, yeah. Another one of the needles. She always used to give me, like back in the day when I was doing bad at live poker as well, she'd always say that she'd watch some poker on the TV and they all wore sunglasses, and maybe that's what I needed to do because I was giving away tells and stuff. So I think actually one year I got to the stage where I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So it was like a 25k Bellagio big tournament. And I was on day 2 and I didn't know anyone on my table. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I went to day 2 and I put on the sunglasses indoors, felt like an idiot, made the most standard raise ever, like ace-5 suited or something. And everyone tanked a little bit before they folded. It was one of those weird ones where everyone maybe had like half a decision or was just still asleep because it was first hand of the day. And, you know, it wasn't even a big hand. I won the hand and I just felt so nervous. My heart was beating. I was just like, I was just like, I feel like an idiot wearing sunglasses indoors. So that was the one hand I ever played wearing sunglasses. So I got 100% record on it, but yeah, I just can't do it.
Obviously, this year the World Series is not live.
So, yeah, same thing. Just leave your card like on the logo for a while.
Yeah, alright guys, so when you get your cards, if you put them in the circle for us, give us
Is that nice? Smells in the field. Mel Simpson's play.
I thought you said you weren't having one of those until I had one yesterday.
They don't like them. How can you not like tonic tea cakes? How? How do you put mayonnaise on a sausage sandwich? How does anybody ever put mayonnaise on a sausage sandwich?
It goes with everything, Tower. It goes with absolutely everything.
How?
I have it on bacon sandwich, sausage sandwich.
Mel brought us them in. Poker Mel, she's on her way down yesterday. She got on the train. She thought, Tower wants some tonic tea cakes. There they are. He doesn't like them. This does.
So we're back, guys. New featured table. We're going to start in about a minute's time.
Hey, well, if it's good for the system, it's good for the system. That's all I can say. If it's good for the system, I'm having some more. Who have we got? Come on, run us through it.
So a new featured table coming up. In 1's going to be Tony Palingris. In 2, Gary Bush. In 3, Ronald Paxton. In 4's John Kelly. 5, Alex Peffley. 6, Matt Palmer. 7, Julian Sitbon. 8, Rick Trigg. And in 9 is Richard Gladden.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So second session of the day. It is the hour dinner break after this session. Back to normal today.
Is it an hour?
Yeah, it will be an hour.
We'll just have 25-minute break to start with, so it will be 210 in so far. 210. Amazing start to day 1B. Yeah, tea cakes are lovely.
Jim Marlowe. Classic Jim Marlowe comment that.
He's got 12 months off. So everybody is well with the world live streaming GUKPT Day 1B today. We did the high roller yesterday and the cash live stream on Wednesday. Back with the main today, tomorrow and Sunday as we crown a champion. Second session of the day upon us. Levels 3 and 4. Yeah, John Kelly's playing a lot more now these days. John, a big sports bettor is John Kelly.
How are you doing, Baldy?
There's nobody got no hair at the table. We've all got hair. Who are you saying that to? Ah, in the chat box. Afternoon. Baldy in UK. We are doing good. Nice sleep last night. Woke up nice and fresh. Lovely shower. You've got two showers to choose from.
Two.
One that jets at you, one that drips on you. It's great. Did you go down for breakfast?
No, I didn't even know that we had breakfast, to be fair, at the hotel.
The buffet breakfast is amazing. Not had it myself. We're good. We are doing well indeed. Is JP playing this event? JP Kelly, if that's what we're on about. I'm not seeing John in the room. I don't know if JP is in the building. I saw Matt Perrins playing some poker the other day, playing some cash. I think he plays something like 5-10 or 10-25 PLO, doesn't he? Quite a lot. Matt, I saw him playing cash. Nice to see Matt Perrins.
I don't even think there's a travel lodge near the Vic, is it?
I don't know if there is or not. We've never stayed in the travel lodge. Travel Lodge, Wembley Central. That's got to be miles away, hasn't it? Wembley. You see Wembley on the train as you come in. Have you, because you're a Tottenham Hotspur fan,
yeah.
Do you know what fixtures are for the NFL next year? Or, no?
What, NFL fixture? I know obviously the NFL got rights at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but
Yeah.
I don't follow NFL, so I don't have a clue what games are going on there.
All right. Weren't sure if you knew, if you had a newsletter or something like that that said that playing at the Tottenham Hotspur ground is such and such. Well, you're nobody to ask then, are you? I thought you'd be in the know, being a Spurs fan and all that. Yeah, Matt Perrins. Got a World Series bracelet, has Matt? In fact, he's got two. One a 5k and the other was, what was the other one? Something like 2 to 7 stud low ball, high ball, flick them in and hope and pray.
Yeah, something like that.
Apparently had a 10-minute lesson. Stu Rutter told me. It's easy this game, go and play it. Okay, I'll have a bracelet. Thank you very much. Yeah, he was playing cash. Didn't get to speak to him, but he was in the building playing a bit of cash. Was Matt? Top lad is Matt. Apart from him being an Arsenal fan. So in seat 1 we have got Tony Palingris, Gary Bush in seat 2, Ron Paxton in 3, John Kelly in 4, Alex Peffley in 5, Matt Palmer in 6, Julian Seabon in 7, Rick Trigg, our Grosvenor sponsored pro, in 8, and Richard Grading in seat number 9.
Blind on blind here between Richard and Tony. Just complete from Richard. Tony raising that up with the ace jack. Rich not continuing.
Matt Palmer in seat number 6 with the 4s raising it up to 600. Fives for Richard in seat number 9.
Gary not choosing to defend the king 3 off. So heads up between Matt and Richard. Both with a small pair.
Flop set for Matt in 6.
So just going to start betting this one now here, Tower. Plenty of hands we can get called by, especially calling range on the button as well. There'll be plenty of Jack X in there, Ace Jack, through to like Jack 9 suited that we can get some value from, as well as heart draws, some 8X suited in there as well.
2 clubs on the turn.
Yeah, and if I'm Matt here, no reason to play this one tricky. We can credibly rep bluffs as well on this turn. Double flush draw now. Just going to keep firing, build a pot with our strong hand. Just bet, bet, bet. It's going to be the approach we take this hand. But the 5s can't withstand the heat of the double barrel. Get out of the way, and the set for Matt is good.
Was that right? 2.6. 2.6. Alex in seat number 5 with the cap, with the visor.
Yeah, that's like his trademark visor, Tower. I've seen it every time he's been at a Vic. He's had it on.
Yep. Just needs to take the tag out the side that says small, medium or large. don't need that anymore.
So blind on blind Gary completing the Queen 9 suited. Could potentially raise this one up. Happy to complete out of position, and Ronald checking his option with the ace deuce off.
We have a flop 9, 7, 6. Top pair for Gary. Bets 300 and a call from Ron. 4 of diamonds on the turn.
Expect Gary to fire again here, Tower. This is pretty clean turn card for us. Shouldn't change anything. Can get some value from some worse 9X, some 7X, 6X. There's going to be a lot of draws out there. flush and straight. Ronald calling once with ace high, blind on blind, perfectly fine, but faced with a double barrel, thought he was going to get out of the way, but still a non-believer here, Tower.
10 of hearts hitting the river.
And Gary's got an easy check now. No, don't want to keep firing here. Can plausibly have plenty of 8x here, Ronald. And it goes check, check, and the Queen 9 is good.
Now they push, pulling in a few. They are all in. The triangle is in.
Oh, oops. Straight into aces.
Whoops. Julian Seaborn.
Apocalypse says that not a bluff on the river with ace high, why else called flop and turn. We shouldn't even get to the river. I don't mind the flop call, blind on blind, calling once with ace high, but once we are faced with a double barrel, we should just be passing turn. We shouldn't even be there on the river. But I guess if we get to the river, we can credibly rep. Our hand's probably never going to be good at showdown, the way the hand's played. But should just pass turn, personally, in that particular spot. Like this from Julian, flatten the aces here. He wants to try and entice action behind him. Really nice from him. Not just isolating the shove from Alex. But Alex, whatever he's got, he's going to be in a world of hurt here.
Oh, wowzers. Any flop sets about?
Short as well.
Wow.
That's just unfortunate. It was for 2.6k all in. It's not a monster pot.
Oh, wow! Where did 7 come from? Oh my days!
Oh,
He's
wow.
second again. Sit back down, son.
Not over quads. Imagine if they were deep, these two, the two short stacks. Imagine if this was just two starting stacks. It would all go in.
Oh my days! I was just about to say Julian Seaborn, the actor, who's been in plenty of short films. Not much acting going on there when he flops that set of aces, was there? Oh my days! Oh,
Wow.
oh, how to survive? I'll just hit quad.